the fence rests, let's lay it down. Gonna dig deep, wave that verdict round. The defense rests, time to analyze. With the evidence, we'll unveil the crime. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule at the defense rests.
Cue up the camera, Jodie. Morning. It's going to be one of them. Good morning and welcome to the Defence Rests. And the defence has rested a lot today. It's done 9/10 of fuck all. I've just finished cooking my dinner, so I'll be muting my screen. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Tricia. Good morning, Miss Christine. Yeah, I've just finished cooking dinner, so you're going to have to I'll mute it, you won't hear me. Yeah, so let me ask a question. How long did it take you to work out I fell asleep last night? I must have had the good grace to mute the screen for some reason. Yeah, and I woke up about an hour after the I did. Thankfully I muted it and no one heard me snoring. And I woke up an hour later to messages saying, "Good night, Joe." And the screen with all the thumbnails on it. Oops. Oh, could you hear me? Oh, I thought I muted it. So I was snoring. Oh, shit. Sorry. I just can't seem to get... I think last week really took it out of me. And, yeah, as I said, I woke up at... Well, I fell asleep. You know exactly when I fell asleep. Woke up at... It wasn't muted. Fuck. Like a freight train, isn't it? Oh, shit. I can't say. No one's... I'm going to have to go back and listen to it. Yes, it wasn't the most exciting or riveting police interview. I thought he was going to have a massive panic attack, and yeah, that was crap. That wasn't a panic attack. So, did I miss anything? Was there any other witnesses after him, or was that the end of it? Because I thought it, you know, when you're like, just another 10 minutes, it's going to be finished. Just another 10 minutes, I'll be right. Yeah, and that 10 minutes just kept going. So, did you all? Were you all like commenting on me in the chat? Because I didn't go back and read it. I just read a couple of the last ones that said, "Good night, Jodie." Oh crap! I'm not going to leave that down, am I? Never mind. Shit happens, doesn't it? It's funny as. Now, today, you are going to wish you were in my family, because Santa's been, and I have managed to accrue some of the stuff that's going in my Santa stockings for the girls. You ready? This is the first one. Good morning, Elizabeth. You're just in time to see my Santa stocking fillers. I've got some of them back. Did you see that one? Number one. This one I bought for me because I take so many tablets. Yep. I haven't decided who to give this one to yet. Probably my nephew. The calendar of the mullet. Yep. Every page has a different mullet. And this one's probably going to Delson, I think. Pretty big pooches. Every one of them has a pooping pooch on it. So I know you wish you were in my family, because that's only just the start of the stocking fillers stuff that's coming in. I love Christmas. I spend more money in the Christmas stockings than I do on their gifts. And they love it. They love it. They actually prefer opening the stockings. And I normally hide one really good thing right down the bottom. Not this year. Too broke. So, I'm not really sure where we're up to because someone fell asleep last night. So we're just going to go on with day 2. Let's just check that. Excellent. Have you got it with you? Because I have. Right here. The coffee is what I need. Oh, yeah. So we'll start with day 2 of this wedding anniversary dismemberment trial. I've actually switched feeds, so hopefully this will be much better because I don't like the other feed. The audio is crap, and I can actually broadcast high def in this one. Yeah. So, whilst we watch, I'm going to eat my dinner. Is that one? I think so. Okay, let's do it, shall we? Have it boosted. Now tell me you can hear it, please. Well, not yet because it hasn't started yet. Nope. Nope.
I wish it didn't happen. I would like to take back time.
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. I hope you each had a good weekend. I'll start with my usual question. First of all 16 members of the jury are present and accounted for. Did any of you learn anything about this case over the weekend? Any of you discussed this matter with any other individual over the weekend? Did you read any news accounts of the events? Again, on all 3 of those questions, I'm seeing 16 shakes of the head no. Is there any reason that any one of you cannot continue to be fair and impartial, maintain an open mind, and only decide this case once all of the evidence is in? Again, seeing shakes. If anyone feels that they can't, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none.
Now,
we'll continue.
I remember, Christine, I got your email about the fundraiser. Because the one that I've set up isn't doing that well, I don't think it's the best way to do it. But if you wanted to, because you're going to have to do all new logo designs and all sorts of stuff, and I haven't got the time to put into it. So if you want, you can copy and paste that link to the merch shop that I've put in chat, and you can post it on anyone's, you can share it on anyone's feed that if they'll let you. And that's probably the best way to get it all out there and in the one place, and then I can transfer it in one lump sum. That's probably the best idea, I reckon.
The trial, Detective Boris is still
Was it
on
really,
the
really
stand.
loud?
I'll remind him he's still under oath.
Yes, sir.
And we'll continue with the state's case. Ms. George.
Thank you, Judge. After
to go.
Let's lower the lights. We're gonna play the video.
Did you have to say anything?
I wish it didn't happen. I wish I could turn back time. I wish that I was just, I don't know. She was saying how she was like, I'm gonna fucking ruin your life, and I'm gonna make sure you lose your license. I'm gonna make sure nobody ever comes to you again. And I was scared, and I was hurt. Why was she saying that? I don't know. I don't know, James. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, she literally was trying to break me down any way that she would, like, I don't know if you've ever just, like, wanted to be a dick, but, I mean, I don't do it that well, like, so, yeah, I'm usually just, like, okay, like, you'll talk about it, fix it, you know, whatever, but. So you thought she was being kind of like a dick just to be a dick? Yeah. Alright. You know, like, I don't think that, you know what I mean, like, I suppose it would be like, if I told you guys and you're just both like looking at me, you know, but I'm sure you're thinking like, wow, this dude, what the fuck? You know, like, what pushes a man to do such a thing? Like, I would never do that.
When I used to do meditation.
And our job isn't, we're not sitting here to judge you, Joe. That's not our job. We're fact finders, and you know, we talk to people for a living. You know, this is the first time that we've talked to people that sat across the table and said that they regret things that they've done and they've done bad things. And it probably won't be the last time that we'll regret a couple more days. Maybe. Hold on. I think the other important thing I wanted to just circle back to is the timeline on Friday. So, you know, when you come from New Hampshire to Vermont, you know, it's my understanding you told us that your sister had an Airbnb. And I just want to clarify because I think you said basically put it in park and the argument with Emily basically starts. But at any point, like, did you guys engage or talk with your sister? Did you go into the Airbnb? Like, so I think, excuse me, just
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Like,
I don't think we talked about that earlier. So if we could go through the timeline on Friday one more time with a little bit, even more detail, you know, the little things.
I was on my back. It was a little
that would be helpful. So Friday, basically, from you guys, you know what time roughly you left New Hampshire to come to Vermont?
I don't.
Not sure.
No.
Was it morning, afternoon, evening? Oh, afternoon. And earlier, I think you said you arrived in Vermont between like 7 and 8 p.m. Is that seems right? Okay. So when you arrived at Bolton, tell me everything you do after you arrived at Bolton. So like when you talk to your sister and her boyfriend, and like, where does that fit into this timeline?
I guess we hung out with them. I would say safely just like from 9 to 11 or something like that. I don't know.
So roughly 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that interaction with you and your sister, or Emily and your sister? Was like everyone getting along?
I was just happy to see my sister, and you know, she sat there super quiet. She didn't really say.
Okay.
I think she might have just said hi to.
Where were you guys hanging out? Was it on the bus or in the? It wasn't in the Airbnb.
No.
Did you ever go on the Airbnb?
I showered in there and had some coffee in there.
Okay.
The next morning.
Okay. So you showered inside the Airbnb on Saturday morning after the incident with Emily occurred?
Yes.
Okay. So 9 to 11, you hang out with your sister on the bus. Was her boyfriend on the bus as well? What's his name?
Carry on.
How long did the stream go on when I fell asleep?
The new one.
Was it for long or?
They go inside the
They went inside.
So when does the arguing start? So because earlier, I just want to clarify, because earlier you said it basically started when you arrived. So were you guys kind of arguing all night, even with your sister around?
No, like I said, when Nikki and Ariel pulled up, I was like, hey, what's up? Then Em went quiet. She said hi to them. And then, I don't know, we like sat in there and caught up for, it seemed like an hour and a half or so. Like, so she was just sitting up there quietly, like, and then they're like, come inside and watch Netflix. Cool, let me see what she wants to do. They're like, okay, we'll do so much. And then I was like, what are you trying to do? She said, I don't feel good. I don't want to go in. Maybe we should go in. Let's go in. No, I don't want to go in. Fuck those people. Like, fuck this place. Fuck you. Yeah.
So they're just, so your sister and Ariel's kind of going in for the night, and kind of the decision for you and Emily to go in or not to go in, was that the starting point of like, they argue, like, and you use that, what did you use that for after? So, is it rather than accurate to say that on Friday, when this is going to happen, they didn't hear you?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I didn't even hear you talking over my snoring.
I'm not gonna get
Oh, that's hysterical. I'm gonna have to make a short out of that. Nothing to see here. Move along. Good morning. I was just reviewing yesterday's footage. So so did that go on for like half an hour before the stream stopped? How embarrassing. Oh my God. It's hysterical. I don't think the the horizontal the streaming is the right place for me. Anywho, let's get back to day 2. Oh, we're gonna have to make some shorts out of that. Gold. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never done that, but oh, that's funny as. At least I can't say I don't snore anymore.
And then so from roughly 11 o'clock when they go inside, how long? What time period goes by? How long before you shoot Emily?
You're just being nicer to him.
I was drinking.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Vodka. Was drinking vodka.
Okay.
Good.
How
I just wanted to.
Okay.
We're going.
How much vodka had you had?
I think my dinner's gone cold.
Maybe like 3 to 6 shots.
Was it Emily drinking?
Mm-hmm.
She drank.
Mm.
She drank so much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I put in a big week last week.
you see that, right?
And it's catching up
Was
with
that
me.
like a mixed drink or?
It was like vodka Red Bull.
Vodka Red Bull?
And then I started drinking some wine. So, it's Cabernet Sauvignon.
How long is this police interview? Christ.
What kind of wine was it? I'm sorry.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes,
Okay. A while.
Any drugs or anything?
I smoked pot.
Any,
No.
You're okay?
I had like one puff. She doesn't smoke very much. Like, maybe in a day she might have like 2, 3 puffs. So not much. And I think like a single puff, but it's like lighted, puff it, done. And now it's
So one of the questions that I think is important to ask is, when earlier we talked about the incident where, Emily's you guys are arguing, you described her hitting you multiple times, and then she goes to lay down on the bed and said, you estimated, initially you said 10 to 15, but then you changed it like 5 to 10 minutes had passed before you retrieved the Glock out of the cabinet and shoot her. I think it's important to ask, and I think Emily's family and a lot of people will wonder, like, why didn't you just leave the bus? If she's laying down, the physical altercation of her hitting is done, how come you didn't just leave?
something in my mind told me that it wasn't going to stop until I stopped. First decision.
There's nothing there.
Would you understand if people said, well, it had stopped?
Oh, I don't mean like that particular thing. I meant like it's been escalating, and like I didn't see like it.
What, describe Emily to me. I never met her, obviously. Is she tall, shorter?
She's like 5'1", 130 pounds.
5'1", 130 pounds. Anything right now?
No, nothing there.
So I think we're gonna step out for a minute. Do you need more coffee or water or anything?
No, I have both.
Both, give you some bathroom?
No.
Okay. I think those are your chips.
You come through, Dom.
You can eat it on the chips.
Oh, you don't,
Starches.
you don't need any starch?
It's like easier stuff. I hear you just don't need it.
It's gonna heat.
I mean, if I was gonna go back
Back
to
up on
meeting,
this.
I needed it, but I'm sitting here, not doing anything. Like,
Do you have any?
I have questions.
Okay, what are your questions?
Like, what happens now? Like, I'm gonna be processed and taken to a place. Is there gonna be someone I can talk to? Like,
Yeah, so where we go from here is ultimately not our decision. We have bosses that we answer to.
I said typically, like, you just walk me in on.
Yeah, so, we're gonna continue to conduct the investigation. Obviously, we've been talking to you now for an hour and a half, so there's some other detectives that are looking into things and trying to piece what happened together, so we'll probably go chat with them. And, try to understand the best that we can what happened, and then, maybe come back and. Well, I think that's something that we need to do is kind of go touch base on them and see if there's anything we want to clarify.
See what
The only other thing, Joe, that I could think of that you might be able to help us out with, and it's totally up to you, is a lot of times for
And then I would like to do, maybe at the same time, we'll do photos just to document if you do have any injuries, if that's something you're comfortable with. Is that fair? All right, we'll step out. If you need anything, you want to let us know.
Actually,
Cold now. Okay.
yeah, it's not called.
You know that?
Yeah.
You know what they say about men with long fingers, don't you? Deep nostrils.
You and Kelly feel better?
Not really.
No?
Not really.
It'll take time. A little bit here and there. That's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I asked them if they were gonna take me somewhere where I would have an opportunity to talk to someone.
Like mental health
Yeah, it's,
personnel, yeah, we can get people for you. We have those resources, yeah. Yeah, that would probably
Late
be a
now.
good thing.
Should have asked for that before.
their job is to ask questions and stuff, but truly is. I need someone who's an expert at scrambled brains and how to help me use my mind again.
Absolutely, yeah. We have those resources for you, yeah. Yeah, so we'll get through this today. I can try to get some answers for you, how to make that happen.
Are you on? You're, yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Do you guys all work with the same people, or is this their case, James and Seth?
So I work with James and Seth.
Oh, so you're also, so it's all in the team?
Yeah, we work as a team, we go around states. So we all work at different barracks, so when something happens like this, so there's an issue center. Yeah, investigation that works together. So we work with several other detectives from our state, wherever we have to be working. So it's a total team effort. A lot of moving parts.
Tell me if that's too fast. I'll slow it down.
So I met your dog.
You did?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah, I wanted to go back I was gonna try to get back and say goodbye to her, but.
Yeah. So something we'll probably have to, give a shout out to Jason, just kind of figure out what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
They were okay today, keeping her. She stayed with our,
Yeah.
played with her a little bit. We'll have to decide what we want to do with her.
I mean,
I don't know if they're in a position to take her.
I don't know if they are, there's lots of people around, she's a company.
Yeah, I can certainly check with her.
Yeah, that's one of the things that was super cool. That was on my mind. Shoot one decision, 3 seconds of my life. I couldn't even, make your things say it, you just leave.
So kind of,
Does this interview get any better? Can we still talk about the dog?
Somebody get bigger.
She's perfect size.
Yeah. She's a perfect dog, like, she literally doesn't, think it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, aside from like a little bit of barking. Thank you.
Yeah, you try.
Cigarette.
See what questions everyone has, so
Yeah,
again,
so we're done with that. We'll wait.
thank you. Thank you.
So, take it out.
Yes.
See if I can find some. Yeah, one of the guys, so.
Yeah, my door. So,
Yeah. So do me a favor though, yes.
my favorite.
You get about to hurt yourself, just let us know.
I have none. I do it.
I want you to, it's important for you to reach out to somebody, like, let one of us know if you're feeling that way, and that way we'll get somebody here to talk to you.
Thank you.
But kind of a, almost like a switch,
Wrong button, sorry.
flipping back and forth.
Blood, right? No. No, no. So you say you've been doing this for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
24?
Yeah. So do me a favor though, yes.
My favorite.
You get about to hurt yourself, just let us know.
I have none. I do it.
I want you to, it's important for you to reach out to somebody, like, let one of us know if you're feeling that way, and that way we'll get somebody here to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you for myself.
We're not gonna let you hurt yourself.
I'm gonna bust her home, so it's not called. So now, use my mind, look at this. I don't know. And I felt sad for like
Probably.
40 plus.
In general, or,
Yeah.
so every case is a little bit different. First of all, the detective here, make sure that what you're saying is true.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I agree. That's first of all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna verify some stuff, and,
Yeah.
you know,
Cigarette time.
yeah.
So, you want one? We'll walk out with you. Okay. I'm surprised you guys don't have, some kind of, ad, like a digital highway. Great.
One right, this is the future. Something that's kind of come to mind, and again, I haven't been on the bus, but you know, everything that he's telling us, I'd imagine was extremely messy, and that'd be blood everywhere.
Mhm.
Little bit. When you cut arms and legs and a head, that's gotta be pools of blood, right?
No.
No.
No. Not full, but maybe more like, maybe like somebody's still catering.
Like a full Gatorade?
Maybe like a full,
Well, how soon after shooting Emily did you cut her up?
15 hours.
So 12 to 15 hours after. Did you have to clean up and leave a mess doing that?
It's a little messy, so I cleaned it up.
Tell me about cleaning it up.
I just wiped it up and put the links in bags. Put it in bags.
So I like you to say this, you know, what a career, long life. So we talked about essentially shot her into that. I think we said that was like 1 o'clock that morning, somewhere there. So it was 12, well, how many hours after? 12 to 15 hours. So we're talking, so that's Saturday. So we're talking 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Right?
Remote.
It's midnight to do is 12 hours, and another 3 hours would be 3 on Saturday, 3 p.m. on Saturday. So is that accurate? That one works enough, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, where was that? Was that at the parking lot?
No, that was at Pullman's.
So where in St. Albans, I'm sorry?
Blue buses now. Yeah.
Okay, so we're all on the same page. So the cutting of Emily's body occurred inside the bus while it was parked at the lanes. Correct. I might have missed earlier too. So you were parked somewhere near the Airbnb. That's the impression I got. Right. Where exactly were you parked? There, I don't know. There was parking lot. There's parking lot. So you were parked. It's like a building. Okay. The condos and the parking lot. Okay. Outside the building. Gotcha. So essentially she was complete all and then drove back to the lane. That's where you for the bags. Sure. And then at any point during this incident with Emily, did you have help from anyone? No one helped you dispose of the body, no one helped you clean up, no one provided any tools. And other than Spencer, did you tell anyone else what happened? The person that told Spencer, you guys. Okay. Do you want to read this? I think what might be helpful, I just got thought as he said, it was like, if I get an aerial shot of that building, you can just mark on the map, like the area you were parked. Does that sound? It might be helpful. Might be helpful. Would it be able to identify it on the aerial map? If it helps you, I can. Okay. It says your name on it. Do you want to read that? So what this is we talked earlier about the people lost the DNA for to process the data. What this is you're giving us your consent for that. So what is it like that you might permission to detect this ever consent? They conduct complete search sites, well in their contact with your DNA, I will allow this over to process it, of course. So essentially go for biological, go for your DNA, and then other things that you just hold up so we can document if you have any injuries. Yes, versus that you might not be able to see and then show photos. So if you're in agreement with that, there's a heavy sign here, and then date time it. You do tattoos? You have a shop somewhere in front of it?
I used to do tattooing in tattoo shops, and I just kind of realized somebody will message me if they want something. So designing one and what it's going to do.
Did you do all art on yourself, or did that people let you let them?
I finished this when the guy started it and walked away, and they left the fix it in there, so I just finished it while he was helping other people. But
You work around here?
I worked at Burlington for like 10 years, and worked in Essex for a year.
Where do you work from?
About a year.
Family crashes.
You do?
Yeah, so let's try to get something other to the shoulder. You got a bunch of lots of shadowing, so it's other Vermont, a lot of stuff. Shadowing, and that's a great job, so thanks to you, you're not a great person.
Yeah, that's what I think. You guys do through a lot of people. It takes hours and hours and hours and lots of focus for all of those hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have somebody that's gonna like do it right, or they're just doing it. Yeah, I mean, like they're just doing it.
Right.
I typically, I try not to like pull and just make that aggressive here, like, it is what it is.
Well, I think impressive is something that is, kind of unique, it's hard to tell what it actually is, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, that's what I think I pull records and we do the thing.
Right.
But most times I try to just take the ideas and try to take what they have to say and then make something original. Yeah. So that way, I think that way you get the best experience,
right? Yep. I kind of get a kick out of you want to play stand books with like Clover.
Yeah.
Oh, you want this?
Yeah. I don't like to do the same thing over and over and over. So you can photograph me, or
yeah, I think that's the plan. One of our colleagues has a actual camera that makes a little pictures iPhone 6 or whatever this is. So, I just want to wait for James before he gets carried away. He's trying to print out a map, so that when you're on a map, so you can show us where you're parked.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool, bus or RV. You can rent it all yourself.
Yeah.
It's cool. Diesel or gas?
Gas. Yeah, my plan was to like, we got plans to like work and save and then travel.
Yep.
Go see, Yellowstone and the Canyon and Joshua Tree, Colorado. I was like, when we started, like, I was like planning, and she just like stopped working and stopped helping. Yeah, like she wasn't working, she wasn't contributing to the thing.
No, I don't think it's gonna work. The picture is bad and the printer's not working. But another sergeant's gonna come in just on the crime scene team, so he just processes evidence. Yeah, he's all for take pictures. When they're doing the pictures, I'll try to come up with a better picture, but the one I found was negative, so I'm gonna show you. Yeah. So they should be introducing that. Anything we have to talk about? I know you guys were chatting there, but we were just chatting about, you were about 10 years at Money Art Girl, the tattoo artist up there, and then about a year in Hampshire. That was kind of a brief answer to it. Something else that kind of comes to mind, you know, having this open conversation, might as well ask you, you know, is this the first time that something like this has happened? Yeah. It was like, it's pretty intense. Fucking awful, dude. Like, I don't know if it was you or if it was Sam, but if you would have talked to me a week ago, I would do a couple of things that I've never do. But it was such a fucking brutal week. Like, nonstop, like, it's just like, more into like, I don't know what the hell happened, just everything changed. Something, you know, I don't know if I was talking to you, like, maybe it was you when you sit down and sleep. I believe my brain was like, no, like, it's not gonna stop, like, you have to stop her now. The part was in it, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, like, I just had this like week more week. Not good. All right. Well, want to go see where? Yeah. And just put your name in here. Joseph Ray. D-R-L-A. I got to do a direct phone number, but you address. What's your current address? Current, I guess Delta Line. Okay. Well, I know that. So, at some point throughout the investigation, we're going to probably take a look at your phone. Okay. It'll be easier for us to access your phone and your passcode. Yep. What is that? 012779. Do you know where your phone is now? Indeed. Do you need anything else? Give us for top. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll talk about officer. Yeah, I do that. Was that? Yeah. We will get the 80. Yeah. Joe, so this is Amy. Oh, okay. So Amy's gonna take your pictures and she's also gonna do your beautiful fun. So this is just one of the inside your
We're not going to watch all that.
Are you good for a second?
Detective Sergeant Forrest, is it your understanding that for the next about 40 minutes of the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo is laying on the floor?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other questions asked in this room that you recall?
I don't recall if he used the bathroom in that 40 minutes or not. And then after that 40 minutes, as he's leaving this room, we were bringing him to a secure holding cell. I think I asked a question about his boots, but it was nothing significant.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, look, I've got just noticed my background.
Detective Sergeant Forrest, while the video is playing, there's a time at the bottom, a running time. Is that the actual time of day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so when we just ended the video, it was approximately 5:07 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. During that entire interview with Mr. Ferlazzo, did he ever say that he was unable or unwilling to speak to you?
No.
Did he ever say that he felt forced to speak with you?
No.
And did you provide him with anything that he asked for?
Yes, we provided him with food, coffee, water, cigarettes, bathroom breaks, a blanket.
And did he consume those things?
Hand job.
Some of those things, yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 21. document?
Yes,
Can you tell the jury what it is?
it's a transcript of the recorded interview.
And does that include everything said in the interview room?
Yes, I believe so.
Does it also record the breaks?
I believe it records the breaks as well.
Your Honor, the state moves to the states.
No objection.
One's admitted without objection.
At some point, do you move Mr. Ferlazzo to a different space?
Yes.
And do you recall approximately what time that was?
I believe it was about 40 minutes after the 40 minutes where he laid on the floor, just before 6 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. And where was that space?
So at the St. Albans Barracks, we were in the interview room. We moved him to a secure holding cell.
Okay. And did you speak with him while he was in the cell?
I did,
Okay. Multiple times or just once?
multiple times.
Okay. During any of the cigarette breaks or times you went in to speak with him, did you ask him more questions about Emily?
There was one occasion where we asked questions about Emily. All the other occasions were to check on him, cigarette break, provide him food, that type of thing.
Okay. And the time that you did ask him more questions about Emily, do you recall when that was?
I believe it was shortly after 9 p.m.
Okay. And was this recorded?
Yes, it was.
In which way?
So the holding cell has a recording system. It's audio, video. So the audio wasn't captured for some reason on that system. So there's video. And then as a backup, we have a digital recorder that I had in my pocket because sometimes technology breaks. So the audio is captured on the digital recorder.
Okay. And when you went in to speak with him again, did you tell him that you had more questions for him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you read him his Miranda warnings again?
I didn't reread them. I had the form, the Miranda waiver that he had previously signed. I showed it to him and I explained all of his rights still apply. It was his choice if he wanted to talk, and we had more questions.
Okay. And what was his response to that?
I believe he said, what are your questions?
Okay. And how long did you speak with him?
It was about 20 minutes.
Right. And have you reviewed the recording that was in your pocket?
Yes, I have.
The state identified that as states 20. You reviewed that before your testimony today?
Yes, I have.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of the conversation?
Yes, it is.
And did we also provide you with a transcription of this conversation?
Yes.
Okay. And that's marked as states 22. Which the state would move to admit states 20 and 22.
No objection.
22 are admitted without objection.
Are there points during this audio that are hard to hear?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury why that is?
So the handheld digital recorder that I use, I keep it in my pocket. So occasionally you can just hear like the rustling of my jacket. It is October 19th, 2021, 9:18 p.m. Hey, Joe, you got a second? You set up for me? You okay? How's the pizza? Yeah, it's okay. Gets old after a while, you know? We had a few more things we were hoping to talk about. Is that something you're willing to do? Go back into the other room? We just wanted to clarify a few more things. Totally your choice. Or if you don't want to walk all the way down there, we could do it. We could do it in here. We prefer to just sit at that table, but whatever you're more comfortable with, again, it's your choice. You want us to just ask them in here? Okay. You said yeah. Okay. I'm going to step in. Just before I ask the question, I just want to show you this form. We went over it earlier with all your rights. I just want you to know that this Miranda form that you signed earlier, all these still apply. You know, so. This is still in place, so at any point you want to talk to us, you just let us know, okay? Second, I appreciate the conversation that we've had, and the honesty that you've provided, and it's taken us some time to try to check and verify things, right? So we appreciate, the details that you told us earlier, help us understand what's going on. I guess my first question, before we get to some other specific ones, is there anything that has come to mind sitting in here that you want to share with us, any details we haven't talked about yet?
Just been trying to rest.
So nothing's come up that you're like, oh, I wish I should have told him this, or I wish I told him that? Okay. All right, and yeah, I think we have a couple.
So we talked a little bit about it before, about the items that you take out, news, glasses and stuff, and those all things. If you can remember anything more about that you're very confident with that having a garbage can and the version of the gas station. Did you put that white bag in the other bag, or did you put the white bag in the garbage? I mean, did you put it in a black bag before you put it in the garbage or anything like that, or just like that?
Pretty sure it was just a white bag.
I appreciate that.
When you say food shopping bag, was it paper, was it plastic? A plastic. Do you know where it was from?
Good morning, Cindy.
Oh, right. Did you buy something at Shaw in the market basket that would help kind of like what kind of
Nope.
was? But you had your gotten it recently, or is it old? Older?
Are you talking about her, not me?
Okay. Right. And then, you told us earlier that you grabbed the lock out of the closet and jumped on the bed. So I was hoping you could just talk briefly about, when you jumped on, did you jump on the bed or jumped on her correctly? That kind of way out.
Jumped on, well, yeah, like jumped on the bed. I jumped on her, she was on the bed, like.
Okay. And then
Apparently.
before you said that, you don't believe she was sleeping because she was still kind of saying stuff for her graphic. When you jumped on her, did she say anything to you?
Something like, are you fucking kidding me? Or you fucking kidding me?
And then, what was her reaction to you?
It was just like that. Like, I just jumped on her and she said, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Or something like that.
Did she try to fight you or anything like that? And how long, if you could ask me, was it between when you jumped on her and when you fired the first shot? And how about the second shot? So I don't want to go burst your mouth or anything. I'm just trying to, so you, essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, you jumped on her and bang bang. Like that. Is that how it happened?
I think you shook your head no, but when Seth asked you if she tried to put up a fight, did you say yes or no? There was no fight? Okay.
In the bags that you used, where did those bags come from?
Grocery store.
No, the garbage bags.
Grocery store.
Oh, so you got them at the grocery store. Did you have them prior to this?
I had them.
Okay. And I want to take you a little bit back a little bit, talk about your trip to Vermont. You said that everything's pretty good and it was pretty good, right? Did you guys make any stops or do not sightseeing or anything like that on your way in here?
I feel like I did, but I can't. I don't know if I can answer that right now. I have a hard time focusing.
Yeah, so my question was, is when that you guys made your travel to Vermont, previously we talked about, they asked you, about your travel there, you said it was pretty enjoyable. My question to you now is if you made any stops or did anything, between Hampshire and Vermont?
Well,
Can't imagine, I mean, we got a terrible one.
The hell is wrong with the audio? Friggin' hell. Is it just me or is it really bad?
So have you ever thought about anything like this before? There's never a time in the past where, I mean, it came under your skin. I don't want to words your mouth, but, you know, beating on you, as you said, kind of beating on you, you know, provoking you. Was there ever a time when you felt like you could do something like this or?
no. No. You know, it's, you know, there's definitely times when we go back and forth. You know, she's like, what to do? Like, she was saying, like,
Yeah. So what do you think? How do you think this all happened? How do you feel like, you know, it happened? What do you think happened? What do you think caused this?
I remember sitting there,
On the couch?
just trying to like, it was raining. I remember just watching the rain, it was lightning. And I was on vacation, and I was just trying to enjoy myself and stay out of the rain. And I guess trying to like relax, and you just get trying to unfurl my piece. And then it was just like, I just felt this like, wave over me. So yeah, it was like,
What does that make you feel like you talked about before, like, a warm sensation about your body?
I think it's loss of focus, rage.
Were you feeling angry, or were you feeling sad, or how were you feeling?
I felt pushed, fed up.
Joe, you got a second? Is that for me? How was the pizza?
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's okay. It's old after a while, you know? We had a few more things we were hoping to talk about.
Okay,
Is that something you want to do?
Kind of like
Go back into the other room?
you
Want to clarify a few more things?
about a time when, you know, I don't know if you're speaking generally, or you're speaking about talk about.
Just walked up.
If you don't want to walk around, we can do it here. We can do it just at the table, but whatever. You said, yeah.
Might have made it a sound effect.
Quiet. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
What were you feeling after?
Yep. Dropped the phone. Dropped my vape.
So you're feeling disgusted at yourself? Like, disbelief of what happened?
No, I had my iPad set up beside me, and it was on my iPad, and I thought I had muted. Yeah.
Still I can't sleep.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Anything that you want to share or questions for us before we wrap up here?
Nothing that comes to mind, maybe I can have it.
Yeah, I can try. No, I don't. I can try to kind of explain the process from here. But before we get there, I guess I have to say, like, I appreciate the honesty today, and I hope you feel that we treated you okay today. Yeah, it's, you know, our job isn't to judge or make judgment on anyone, because we're fact finders, and we're trying to piece this together.
Why don't we take our morning break here?
Yeah.
15-minute break.
Got it.
Thank you, Judge. The audio that we just heard, it appeared that you asked Mr. Ferlazzo if he was willing to sign a sworn statement form.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm showing you which one marked as states 129.
It's 60
Is that
degrees
the form
Fahrenheit.
you were going over
right
with
now.
him?
Yes, ma'am.
At
Within that states
quarter
129.
to 2 in the morning.
No objection, thank you.
Exhibit 129, states 129 is admitted without objection.
Is this the form that I just showed you?
Yes.
And so in the audio, in the down the right corner there, is that where Mr. Ferlazzo signed?
Yes.
And when you asked him if he was willing to sign this, did he make any indications that what he told you wasn't truthful?
No, he did not.
Before moving on, the individual that you spoke with and is on the video with you, is he in the courtroom today?
Yes, he is.
Identified as Joseph Ferlazzo?
Yes, he's at the table, blue shirt, black tie.
Thank you. Judge, the state would ask that the record reflect Mr. Ferlazzo has been identified.
So reflected.
Have you interviewed individuals related to homicide cases prior to this one?
Yes.
Do you approximately, you know how many approximately you were the case officer on?
At that time, I believe it was around 10, maybe, approximately.
And have you done others since?
Yes, since then, I've been assisted or been the lead on about 50 homicide cases throughout Vermont. I would say the lead on 15 of them.
Okay. And in your experience, is it common for people to appear tired or stressed during those interviews?
Yes,
Have people declined to speak with you during those interviews?
yes, they have.
Have people told you that they don't feel comfortable speaking with you
Yes.
or that they aren't in the right state of mind to provide an accurate statement?
Maybe not in those exact words, but people have declined to speak with me for a variety of reasons.
Did Mr. Ferlazzo ever make any such statements during the time you spoke to him?
Never.
He did make a few statements about his mind not being right. Did that concern you in a way that made you question his ability to give a statement?
It didn't concern me from my standpoint because Mr. Ferlazzo was articulate. He was responsive to my questions. He said he wanted to talk like very early on. There was no concern about his ability to interact and converse with me.
And after you concluded the interview with him or with anybody, what's the sort of next steps you take in an investigation?
So I call it like check and verify. So when someone tells us something, we try to prove it right or prove it accurate and see if there's other evidence that supports what we're being told.
Actually, before we move on to that, I'm going to show you what's been marked as dates 13. You recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
This is a sketch that Mr. Ferlazzo drew during our interview.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of what he drew?
Yes, ma'am.
State would move date 13.
Any objection?
Oh, I'm sorry. No objection.
Day 13 is admitted without objection.
Is this that sketch?
You're gonna be the
Yes.
judge.
Okay, so it's a little bit
Paying
small, but
attention.
you just kind of describe to the jury what it is.
So it's the sketch during the interview when Seth and I, or Detective Sergeant Richardson and I, were talking about the layout of the camper van with Mr. Ferlazzo. He drew the sketch. It's kind of
Like,
maybe appears upside down on the screen, but the bed is at the top. And then he depicted a couch, a closet, the bathroom, and he depicted the location where Emily currently was at the time of the interview.
Thank you. Okay, so the check and verify, is that what you called it?
Yes,
Okay, so in this case, did you, after you interviewed Mr. Ferlazzo, did you work to confirm or deny things that he'd made in his statement?
yes,
Statements he'd made. And were you able, during the course of your investigation, were you able to verify any of the statements that he made?
yes, we were.
And specifically starting with the location of the incident, were you able to confirm?
Yes, we spoke with his sister, Nikki, and she provided information that was consistent with what Joe provided us. Emily's geolocation data was consistent with being at Bolton Friday evening.
And he told you that the homicide had occurred while Emily was in bed. Were you able to verify that?
Yes,
And how were you able to verify that?
the physical evidence is consistent with that. The pillow from the bed sheets, the bed itself.
And what about where he shot her on her body?
Yes, that was confirmed during autopsy.
And he made statements about firearms located in the van.
Yes,
Were you able to verify that?
yes, there were firearms located in the van.
How many firearms were located in the van?
I believe it was 2 handguns and 3 long guns.
Can you describe what a long gun is?
Like a rifle. I think there was like a short-barreled rifle, a shotgun, and another rifle, and then 2 handguns.
Did he tell you during your interview that Emily owned any of those guns?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you that Emily had a gun?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you that Emily slept with a gun under her pillow?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you that Emily possessed or used a gun at any point?
No, he did not.
May we approach?
Breakfast at Maxie's in Waterbury, Vermont.
Judge, if the court could read stipulation states number 117.
All right, there's no objection to the admission of one.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, stipulation number 2, members of the jury, the state and defendant Joseph Ferlazzo have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is called a stipulation. A member of the Vermont State Police collected surveillance video and a purchase receipt from Maxie's restaurant in Waterbury, Vermont from the morning of October 16, 2021. That surveillance video and a copy of the receipt was added to the case file and reviewed by Detective James Horace. The authenticity of the surveillance video and purchase receipt is not being challenged. Chain of custody of the surveillance video and purchase receipt is also not being challenged. As with any evidence in this case, in this trial, you must decide what weight you will give this stipulation. And that's admitted as stage 1.
I'm going to show you what this would mark as states 14 and 15. Recognize these?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell the jury what they are?
15 is the receipt from Maxie's from October 16th, and 14 is a screenshot from the video from Maxie's.
It would move to admit.
Any objections?
No objection.
14 and 15 are admitted without objection.
Detective Sergeant Horace, is this the screenshot from the surveillance?
Yes.
And can you just tell the jury what they're looking at?
This is inside Maxie's restaurant in Waterbury, and Mr. Ferlazzo is in the kind of in the middle, maybe upper left side of the screen near the door.
And is this the receipt from the breakfast that morning?
Yes.
This is riveting stuff.
Were you able to confirm where Mr. Ferlazzo went Saturday night with his sister?
Yes.
Where was that?
The Twiggs restaurant in St. Albans, Vermont.
Judge, the state would ask the court to read stipulation number 3, states 118.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
States 118 is admitted. I'll read stipulation number 3. Members of the jury, the state and defendant Joseph Ferlazzo have agreed that you may find certain facts. It's called a stipulation. A member of the Vermont State District is
Did you provide still shots from, surveillance videos from inside of Twiggs?
Yes.
And do we have 2 different angles of that?
Yes.
Have you reviewed them prior to your testimony today?
Yes, I have.
Okay. The state would move to admit states 16 and 17.
No objection.
States 16 and 17 are admitted without objection.
Yeah. He behaved just fine. Like nothing
Show
happened.
Mr. Ferlazzo in Twiggs.
Yes.
Is this also inside of Twiggs?
Yes, it is.
Were you able to, did you ever locate Emily's stuff that Mr. Ferlazzo indicated he'd thrown away?
We did not.
Okay, and that was her phone and her wallet,
And her glasses, yes.
glasses. And did VSP, members of VSP attempt to find these items?
Yes, we did. We were unsuccessful.
And you were looking, how long after he allegedly threw these things out were you looking for them?
So we had several detectives and troopers that were assisting in the investigation starting, on the 19th, which were several days after this all occurred.
Right, okay. Were you able to confirm whether or not he gave his sister a tattoo?
Yes, we did confirm that happened.
And at some point during the interview, were investigators able to locate Emily's body?
Yes.
And was she located where Mr. Ferlazzo said she would be?
Yes, she was in the bathroom area of the camper van.
Was her body in the condition that Mr. Ferlazzo said it would be?
Yes, it was.
Did you locate the saw that Mr. Ferlazzo said he used?
Members of the crime scene search team located it in the camper van in the area where he said it was behind the driver's seat.
Was there anything you learned after the investigation that Mr. Ferlazzo did not tell you during the interview?
Yes.
What was that?
I learned after Emily's autopsy that she also sustained stab wounds.
During your investigation, were you able to determine how tall Mr. Ferlazzo is
Yes.
and how much he weighed?
Yes.
And what was,
I determined that through his DMV records.
and what is his height and what did he weigh?
It was 6 feet tall and approximately 200 pounds.
Did that seem consistent with your interactions with him?
Yes.
As part of the investigation, did you seek a warrant for call detail records for the phone number and physical phone belonging to Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes, we had, there were separate search warrants for his phone number, a search warrant for Emily's phone number, and a search warrant for Joseph's physical cell phone.
And did you receive those records in return?
Yes, we received records for both phone numbers and for, the cell phone went to our technology unit.
Did you review the records?
So the call detail records or the records associated with the cell phone carrier. So Joseph's phone number was 802, I think it was AT&T, and Emily's phone number started with 603 area code. Those carrier records I looked at briefly, but ultimately are analyzed by our technology unit. And then I did look at the data that came off of his phone myself.
Okay. Stipulation number 4 states 119.
What is it,
Any
sorry?
objection?
What is it?
Any objection to 119?
No, thank you. No, Judge, no objection.
Stipulation number 4, members of the jury, the state defendant Joseph Ferlazzo have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is called a stipulation. Vermont State Police searched a red Jeep Wrangler belonging to Joseph Ferlazzo pursuant to a search warrant on October 19th, 2021. During that search, an iPhone belonging to Joseph Ferlazzo was collected by Detective Sergeant Aaron McNeil. The iPhone was tagged as item, quote, Jeep number 2, end of quote, / quote, item 14, end of quote, and delivered to the Vermont State Police Technology Investigation Unit, in parentheses, TIU, end of parentheses. The iPhone was in the same condition upon arrival at the TIU as it was when collected from the Jeep during the search on October 19th, 2021. An extraction was done of Joseph Ferlazzo's iPhone, in parentheses, AKA, quote, item 14, end of quote, end of paragraph by Detective Eric Jollymore and added to the case file. That extraction was done in accordance with his training, and the authenticity of that extraction is not being challenged. Chain of custody of the iPhone belonging to Mr. Ferlazzo is not being challenged. As with any evidence in this trial, you must decide what weight you will give this stipulation. Case 19.
So after the technology unit extracts that data and sends that portable case to you, how does that portable case look from your end?
So I received the case from the technology unit. We call it a portable case. It's on, in this circumstance, it was on a hard drive, like a portable hard drive. And I plug it into the computer. I can open the program on my desktop, and then I can review the data that was on the device.
Okay. And is that program pretty user-friendly?
Extremely user-friendly, yes.
Is there any training provided in order to use it?
There's no training required to read a portable case. I have taken training to create portable cases and to extract cell phones myself. I didn't do that in this case, but the portable case it's very user-friendly.
Okay. So were you able to review any text messages from Mr. Ferlazzo's phone to Emily's phone?
Did anyone see the new short that just got put Oh.
Between the time she was killed and the time she was
Yes.
Were there any messages sent from Emily's phone to Joseph's phone during that time period?
No,
there's
all
a
of
score
the
in the
messages were
bedroom as
sent
well.
from Joseph's phone to Emily.
Yes, I did. Just now.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
I'm best get ahead of the.
These are
Sorry.
the messages that were observed, from
I'll
Joseph's
embrace
phone within
it.
that portable case that were sent to Emily's phone number.
It's to admit.
Any objection to?
No objection.
18 is admitted. Objection.
She's talking.
Detective Sergeant Boris, can you just read the messages to the jury and the date and time they were sent?
Yes. October 16th, 2021 at 1:09:58 p.m. Message sent,
Hey.
Babe. On October 16th, 2021 at 1:20:49 p.m. Message sent, what are you doing? Talk to me, please. On October 16th, 2021 at 1:52:47 p.m. The message was sent that read, where are you, Lovey? I wanted to ride with you today. On October 16th, 2021 at 2:02:18 p.m. The message was sent that read, I'm at the Langs, call me. On October 16th, 2021 at 2:02:47 p.m. Message sent, the tranny on the bus is smoking with a emoji. On October 16th, 2021 at 2:57:18 p.m. Message was sent, whatever, I'm going to spend time with Nikki while I can, call me. On October 16th, 2021 at 8:09:48 p.m. WTF, babe. On October 17th, 2021 at 8:45:24 a.m., message read, "Good morning, Bubby. I miss you. Please call me. Nikki just messaged me. You want to meet up in Burlington for some snacks and whatnot." On October 17th, 2021 at 2:03:02 p.m., the message read, "Hello, question mark, question mark." On October 17th, 2021 at 8 p.m., the message was sent that read, "Please M, pick up." On October 17th, 2021 at 8:12 p.m., message 2 emojis were sent. On October 18th, 2021 at 12:05:48 a.m., the message read, "This is far enough. Get your ass home. I got to go back to NH. Are you coming back?" On October 18th, 2021 at 12:05:48 a.m., I believe that's the same message I just read. On October 18th, 2021 at 1:05:36 a.m., random question, where is the extension cord? I want to plug the fan in. October 18th, 2021 at 9:06:19 a.m., good morning, baby, with an emoji.
So
On
this is
October
all
18th, 2021 at
cover his
10:25:51
ass.
a.m., you're an asshole. I don't deserve this shit.
Try and conceal it.
Is that all of the messages that were sent?
I believe so, yes.
Ms. Gantz, any cross?
Yes, thank you, Judge. Morning, Detective Sergeant Boris.
Good morning.
Yeah.
On October 19th, the day Mr. Ferlazzo was interrogated by you and Detective Richardson, Spencer Lemons had already contacted the police through the 911 call and relayed to the police information that he had saying that Mr. Ferlazzo admitted to killing Emily. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Again,
And on October 19th, police were actively looking for Mr. Ferlazzo, correct?
Yes.
And Amy Nolan, who was at that time a member of the Vermont State Police, by happenstance encountered him in St. Albans and in Maple Fields. Is that also correct?
Yes.
And she drove him in her truck back to the St. Albans barracks of Vermont State Police, correct?
Yes.
From the time that he arrived at the Vermont State Police barracks in St. Albans, he was never outside the presence of someone from law enforcement, correct?
I believe there were times where he was alone, like in the interview room, by himself. That's points during the interaction.
Was he under observation through a two-way mirror at times when he was alone in the interview room?
That room doesn't have a two-way mirror. No.
Does not?
No, it does not.
Okay. Okay. At any point, was he free to leave?
He was probably not free to leave.
So we can agree that he was in custody during the time he was at the Vermont State Police barracks, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So how long did you say you have been with the Vermont State Police?
Since January of 2014.
And prior to that, your law enforcement experience was what?
I have no prior law enforcement experience.
Okay. You did graduate from the Vermont Police Academy, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at the academy, you were told and given instructions on how to interrogate/interview a suspect, correct?
There was a class on interviews and interrogations, yes.
And you learned through your instruction, and subsequently, I'm assuming,
I used to be a comedian, but everybody laughed at me.
through experience, what is necessary in order for a confession to be considered voluntary and constitutional, correct?
I don't recall specifically the conversation around that, but I'm sure it may have been part of it. I just don't recall.
Well, you know that you can't make physical threats to get a person to confess, don't you?
Of course.
And you know,
Getting down the, did you read him your Miranda rights? That's where I thought she was going with that, but.
that you can't even make threats of harsh penalties to get them to confess, right?
Correct.
And you
I know.
can't make any promises
I
of leniency, can you, to get them to confess?
Nope.
And the form that he signed indicated that he hadn't been coerced or threats made against him, correct?
I believe that's what it says, yes.
You also know that if
Yep.
someone is highly intoxicated, what they say may not be rational or valid, correct?
Depends on the situation, but that's possible.
It's possible. Or if someone is having a mental health crisis, that also may make the statements they are giving you not admissible because not rational, correct?
Not admissible? Are you asking if it's not
I'll
admissible?
withdraw that question and rephrase it.
Okay.
In order for someone's statements to be considered,
Going with his statement shouldn't be admissible because he's either under the influence or not in the right state of mind or some shit.
voluntary, they have to be able to think rationally. Isn't that correct?
See?
That sounds right. I don't know the legal standard sitting here. Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds right. So some
They're not
things that
putting
might
up they're not putting up a mental health defense. So I'd stick that where your kyber goes.
Interfere with a person's ability to be rational are mental health issues, right?
Potentially.
Yes, yes, right?
No, I said potentially.
Potentially, depending on what.
I think you can have mental health issues and be rational.
Yep.
Okay, so what you're distinguishing is the severity of the mental health issue at the time of the interrogations. Am I hearing you correctly?
No.
Okay, then tell me what you mean.
I just answered your question. If you asked if you could have mental health issues and be rational, and that, I agree.
Okay, that's all I want to hear. And if someone had a physical condition that prevented them from being rational at the time of the interrogation, that also could be a reason why their statement might not be voluntary. Isn't that correct?
A physical condition?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Okay, so
The mouth was wide shut.
for example, I'll give you some examples. If someone is severely injured and is unable to speak, to give a statement coherently, that would be a situation you would consider as not voluntary, wouldn't you?
Could the parties approach?
Right.
Interview someone like that. You'd wait, you dickhead. The fuck? Stupid line of questioning. That's what you ask someone when you don't have a fucking defense. Move on.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
Sorry.
Can you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Seth Richardson, Richardson.
And how are you employed?
Currently employed by the Vermont State Police.
The acoustics in here are not great, so try to
Oh,
keep it
you're
up so they
telling
can hear
me.
you in the back. Currently employed by the Vermont State Police?
Yes,
Okay. And how long have you worked for the Vermont State Police?
13 years.
Were you employed by them in October of 2021? Become involved.
Lovely.
General. So I was paired with Detective Sergeant Sam Truex, who is since retired. We were asked to go to the Lang's residence, inquire if Jason Lang would participate in the interview, and if so, during that interview, if we could obtain consent to search his property.
Okay. And did you search the property?
Yes.
Did you locate Emily on the property?
No.
And did you return to the barracks?
Yes.
After that? And what tasks were you next given related to the investigation?
So shortly after I returned to the barracks, I had learned that Joseph had come to the barracks, or was brought to the barracks, and that would be assisting Detective Sergeant James Voris with interviewing Joseph.
What information did you have about the case prior to going into the interview?
Really not much. That it was a missing person complaint. It was somewhat suspicious, and at that point, I don't remember if
Got it in
the
the
RV
bag.
was seized or was in the process of being seized.
Okay. What was your role during the interview?
Just a co-interviewer, I guess a second interviewer in the room.
Okay. So the jury has seen the video. Is it you in the room with Detective Sergeant Voris?
Yes,
Okay. And were you present when Detective Sergeant Voris read Mr. Ferlazzo his Miranda rights,
yes, I was.
Miranda warnings? And so did you witness him waive those rights?
Yes, I did.
Did he have any questions or concerns about those warnings?
No.
Did he make any statements about wanting to talk to you?
Joseph was eager to talk to us. Joseph said he was there to talk to us. He told James that essentially didn't need to beat around the bush.
Okay. And did you, we've heard obviously the whole interview. So did you have concerns initially in speaking with Mr. Ferlazzo about his ability to speak with you?
No.
Okay. Was there ever a time in the times that he was spoken to where it wasn't recorded?
No.
Did you ever feel like he wasn't responding to the questions appropriately?
No.
Did he ever say anything that gave you the impression he didn't want to engage with you?
No.
Did you ask Mr. Ferlazzo if he was willing to provide a buccal swab of his DNA?
Yes, I did.
And did he agree to that?
Yes, he did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as States 128. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell the jury what it is?
This is a Vermont State Police consent to search form. The form here, the biological is checked off with corresponding DNA and photos of Joseph Ferlazzo. That's my signature as a witness, and that's Joseph's signature on the sign line.
Move to admit States 128.
Any objection, Ms. Johnson? 28 is admitted without objection.
People banging in the background. You hear that?
This is showing States 128. Is this the form that you went over with Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And is that his signature down in the lower right hand corner?
I mean, I get it.
Yes.
I know they've got to bring these
And
but
to listen to that recording?
Okay, 130 is admitted.
But you grab cigarettes or do you want to sleep? You want to sleep? All right, come on up.
No, I can't listen to that. Sorry. It's going to give me a headache. Nobody got my "they have it in the bag" joke. Or should I say bags?
Parts of that are difficult to hear. Can you give just a quick summary of sort of what was discussed?
Yeah, so essentially, Joe and I were having a conversation about when my workday started, when I was scheduled to be finished my shift, apologized to me. Joe was wearing a sweatshirt that I also have. We talked about that, the weather, and that's really it.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would seek to admit 131, which is the transcript of that conversation. No objection.
Page 131 is admitted without objection.
Let's not be doing renovations next door.
So after this conversation, did he go back to the holding cell?
Yes.
And did you eventually approach him again for additional questions?
Yes.
No idea.
The jury has heard that recording. It appears that you asked most of the questions during that interaction.
Yes.
We skipped the coroner.
What was the primary purpose of that later interview?
To try to discern where Emily's belongings
Right now,
were.
anyway.
I think there was a question about.
For lunch,
I
obviously.
think there was a question about some shoes, glasses, cell phone. We were trying to figure out where that stuff was.
Okay. And he had stated to you that he believed they were in a market. He'd thrown them out in a market basket, grocery bag.
Yes.
Sorry. And you said in sort of in the beginning, one of your first tasks was to go to the Langs to search that property, and you didn't locate Emily. Where was Emily ultimately located?
Inside the RV or van.
Okay. And was that on the Langs property?
At one point it was, yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Do you have some questions, Ms. Johnson?
I do, Your Honor.
Why don't we take them up at one? We'll take our lunch break. Again, please don't discuss the case with anyone. Don't.
Lunch breaks
Not
over.
the entire floor. Okay.
That's fine. I understand. Thank you. Do you recall at the beginning of the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo saying, "I haven't really eaten much and I've been up for days"?
Like a
Yes, I do.
baby,
And
right?
then he followed that up by saying, "My mind
Round.
isn't right." Do you recall that?
I remember something to that effect, yes.
Did you or Detective Forrest didn't inquire further as to what he meant by that, did you?
No.
You had no concerns at that point that he might not be able to provide an accurate account of what happened because he was saying at the outset, "My mind isn't right." Is that correct?
Yes.
That was a long question, sorry. And at various points during the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo stated that he was really tired, correct?
I don't know how many times he stated it, but yeah, I know that he stated at least once that he was tired.
Thank you. Do you recall about an hour into the interview, roughly, Mr. Ferlazzo said, "I'm just really tired. I don't know what day it is now. I'm not able to have a clear thought." Do you recall that?
Not specifically, no, I don't.
Okay. Would it help if I showed you the transcript to refresh your recollection?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
Some things you just can't unsee.
So I'm going to show you. Oh, I marked it, sorry.
It's defendant A.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit A, and I'm going to give you the page and the lines. That particular section is located. I'll show you. This is a transcript of the entire first segment of the interview, and this is page 32, and it's lines 11 through 13. And yeah, that's, take a look at that.
Can you repeat your question?
I just asked if you recall saying that at that point in the interview. So-
Right, can you reference what he said, what you're asking me?
Sure, sorry about that. So I asked you if you recall about an hour into the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo saying, "I'm just really tired." I believe he also referenced something about falling into a hole, and I don't know what day it, excuse me, it is now. I'm not able to have a clear thought.
Yes.
Thank you. And again, looks like there was no concern about resuming the interview, no concern that he wasn't able to provide accurate information. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you recall, Joseph, at one point, Mr. Ferlazzo was being asked to provide more details about what happened on Friday and early Saturday, and he said, "All I can remember is like a jumble. It was basically like flashes, like if you go to a disco and look up and there's nothing."
Yes, I do.
Again, that type of jumble and flashes did not concern you as far as the way he was thinking?
Excuse me, it didn't, because
Someone is typing in the background, and you can hear that.
before and after, he gave other accounts of the way he was feeling and felt at the time, which made sense to me.
Okay, thank you. About an hour and 10 minutes into the interview, do you recall Mr. Ferlazzo suddenly putting his head down and suddenly asking for water?
I don't.
Okay. At that point, you don't recall that you and Detective Morris, when he put his head down and asked for water, both of you did in fact say, "Okay, we'll get you some water," and then you left.
I don't
Yes,
remember.
moving apart, actually.
And Detective Truex came in, so I'm guessing on the video at that point, he was hyperventilating and crying. So you did not witness that. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay. And then the questioning resumed roughly 15 minutes, roughly after that. Correct? It resumed after you.
Yes, it resumed after, yes.
Thank you. You drafted a report detailing the actions that you took on the case between October 19th, 2021 and October 21st, 2021, correct?
Yes.
And in the report, you stated that the interview with Mr. Ferlazzo on the 19th of October 2021 occurred in multiple segments over several hours in various locations within and outside the barracks, correct?
Yes. Yep.
The first segment, I'll just reference it the way you did, that was the initial interview with some breaks, understandably, but the initial interview, which took approximately 2.5 hours. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Let's see. And I think at that point, it looks like, so the interview ended at that point, that segment at about 5 o'clock. Is that correct?
I can't confirm that. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that sounds accurate.
At that point, I think you and Detective Morris left and Mr. Ferlazzo laid down on the floor. Do you recall that?
Yes, I remember him laying down.
Okay. And although we can't tell, it's assumed that he was probably sleeping, but he was laying down on the floor whether he was sleeping or not, correct?
Yes, he was laying down on the floor.
Okay. And then at about 6 or 10 minutes of 6, after he'd been laying on the floor, he was moved to a holding cell, correct?
Yes.
And then the next interaction with Mr. Ferlazzo was approximately 8:10, and I think you and Detective Morris woke him up to see if he was okay, and then at that point, took him outside the barracks for a cigarette, correct?
Yes.
And then we brought him back into the holding cell around 8:15 and he laid back down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at about 9:18, you and Detective Morris woke him up again, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confirming that we did wake him up. I can't verify the times, but yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm referring to times if you would like. Yeah, we can always look at it, but, and then you did have at that point, you wanted to ask him a few more things and ask him if he was willing to answer more questions,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
He was groggy at that point, correct?
No, I wouldn't say groggy.
Okay. As alert as he was previously, or?
Yeah, I would say so.
And you told him again that you had some additional questions. I believe you also gave him the option of going back to the interview room or remaining in the holding cell, correct?
James asked him,
Okay.
gave him the choice.
It was hard to tell since that was audio. All right, thank you. And do you recall Joseph responding by stating, "I'm just trying to let my mind rest"?
Yes.
Okay. But at that point, you resumed the questioning, correct?
Yep.
And I believe that lasted about another 20 minutes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
No redirect, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Around hot.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state your name and spell your last name?
Yep, my name's Samuel Truex, Truex.
The acoustics are not great in this room, so if you can keep your voice up so that the back jurors can hear you.
Okay.
Can you tell us how you are currently employed?
I am currently retired from the Vermont State Police.
And when did you retire?
November 30th of this year.
And how long have you been employed at the Vermont State Police?
Over 26 and a half years.
All right, so you were employed with them in October of 2021?
Yes, I was.
And at some point, did you become involved in the investigation related to Emily Ferlazzo?
Yes, on Tuesday, October 19th, 2021.
And how did you become involved?
Teresa, did you get the video I sent you of my feet the other day? I forgot to ask that.
Detective Lieutenant John Paul Schmidt asked me to respond to the St. Albans barracks and said that there was a missing person complaint that was suspicious in nature.
Okay. And upon arrival at the barracks, were you given a specific task?
I was given a couple tasks. One was to sit in on the interview with Joseph Ferlazzo.
Okay. And during that, did you have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Ferlazzo yourself?
Yes, I did.
And the jury has seen the video. So are you the individual that sort of comes in during the breaks and sits with Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And the first time that you went into the interview room, was Mr. Ferlazzo eating?
Yes, he was.
And did you ask him if he needed anything?
I believe Amy got him lunch, and then Seth was in the process of getting him some hot coffee at his request.
Okay. And at any point, did you ask him if he needed anything else?
He asked me, or he told me he had to go to the bathroom at one point, so I escorted him down the hall to the bathroom and back.
Okay. And at one point during the interview, did Mr. Ferlazzo ask you to stay in the room with him?
Yes, he asked me if I'd sit down and stay in there with him.
Okay. Were you planning on doing that anyway?
I wasn't, but I agreed to do that.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with him during that time?
Yes.
And who initiated that conversation?
I think he initiated it.
Did he ask you questions about taking him somewhere?
He made a comment. He asked me if we're going to take him someplace so he can't do that again.
Okay. And how did you respond?
I don't recall exactly what my response was.
Okay. What are some of the other things that you talked about with Mr. Ferlazzo?
He just asked me generally about myself, the police. We talked about, I asked him questions about being a tattoo artist. What was his favorite part? He asked me what my favorite part of being a police officer was. He asked kind of about like the team of detectives and how things worked, where everybody was assigned. We talked about his dog, Remington. I told him that Remington was at his friend Jason's house and that the dog was okay being there, but you probably would have to make arrangements for long term.
At any point, have you ever sat in on interviews like this before in your career?
Yes,
Have you interviewed people who have been charged with murder before?
I have.
And at any point during your interactions with Mr. Ferlazzo, did you have any concerns about his ability to be engaging in a conversation with police?
No, our conversation went both ways. He was actually very cordial and nice to me, and he asked questions. I asked questions of him. It was just a give and take.
And at some point, were you able to find him a cigarette at his request?
Yeah, he asked for a cigarette. I asked one of the detectives who brought one in, and then we brought him outside for a cigarette break, I think on 2 different occasions.
Okay. And he made some comments about possible self-harm. Do you recall that?
Yeah, at one point he said he wished someone would take him out, and they had said to him that if you have any thoughts of hurting yourself, you need to let me know. He says, well, if I had a gun, I would do it, but I don't have a weapon, so I can't. All I have is this hot coffee.
And again, did him making those comments give you any concerns about his ability to continue to engage in a conversation?
No, I was just concerned for my safety being in the room with him, and just for his own safety as well.
Okay. And when you would leave the room and come back in, did he recall who you were?
Yes.
Did he recall you by name?
Yes. When I left after, he was still eating. He just said, "Thank you, Sam," when I stepped out of the room.
And when you come back in the room, did he recall your name?
Yes.
Did you ever feel like he wasn't responding to your questions appropriately?
No.
At any time that he asked for anything, did you get him what he asked for? Or anytime he asked for food or drinks?
Yeah, if he needed food, if he wanted another hot coffee, to use the bathroom, another cigarette, we were very accommodating.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. James.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you've described kind of almost like a switch flipping back and forth between engaging in small talk with Mr. Ferlazzo and him expressing concerns about, or him becoming upset. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And both of those occurred during your interactions with him, right?
Yes.
You do recall him saying at least once that his brains were scrambled, don't you?
Yes.
And that he was not thinking clearly. You recall that as well.
Yeah, he said that he needed to talk to an expert that could help him because of his an expert in scrambled brains.
Scrambled brains.
Yes.
And you responded by saying, yes, we have people you can talk to.
Yes.
And he never did talk to any kind of mental health person after he was processed, did he?
I don't know if he did.
But that's what you told him would be the available to him, correct?
Yes, and I said that we, as in like the state of Vermont corrections, have that access for that. Yes.
You observed that he at one point started hyperventilating, correct? Breathing like this.
I know what that is. I was just trying to recall. I haven't seen the video.
You didn't, I'm sorry?
I didn't review the video before coming here.
Okay.
I don't have access.
And you don't have a recollection of being in the room when that happened?
I feel like I remember him crying or starting to cry a couple times.
Sobbing?
Sobbing.
Sobbing.
Yes.
And you said to him, are you okay, right?
I did ask him if he was okay, and he told me he was not.
He was not, that's what he said, I'm not okay.
Yes.
Um,
And I told him that he's going to have to take it one day at a time, that it's going to take time.
So you were, correct me if I'm wrong, trying to calm him down. Is that a fair assessment of the kinds of things you were saying to him?
I was just trying to reassure him,
Reassure him about what?
just the traumatic incident that he's involved in, just that things are going to be okay, trying to just keep it steady.
He also said to you that more than once, what happens next? Because he seemed to be unfamiliar with the process. Do you remember that?
I don't recall exactly.
Okay. And you were aware that the interview was being live streamed to another room, correct?
Yes.
So he was under observation by other law enforcement the entire time, correct?
Yes, he was.
So even if you didn't observe his complete, I'm going to call it meltdown, he was being observed, correct?
And that was all recorded in that room as well.
In that room?
Yes.
One moment, please, Judge. Thank you. I don't have any other questions for you.
Any redirect?
No, Judge.
Thank you. You're all set. All right. Next witness, there may be a number of exhibits, so we have to gather them and discuss them a little bit, but we'll be back with you probably 10 minutes. We'll need to go through them, so we'll excuse you to the jury room again and come back soon.
All right.
Stupid. Won't send us a video. Even want to cut it down. Maybe. There's even background noise when it's muted. Why is that volume thing off? That's better. The boost is off.
No, it was 29. I thought that captured it okay, and I didn't, 31 seemed to be, was a close-up of 29.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The acoustics in this room are not good.
Okay.
So if you can keep your voice up so the jurors in the back can hear you, that'd be appreciated. Can you just start by telling us your name and spelling your last name? Actually, in your case, can you spell your first name as well?
Certainly. It's Amy, spelled A-I-M-E-E. Last name Nolan, N-O-L-A-N.
Okay. And did you formally work for Vermont State Police?
I did.
Okay. And are you now retired?
I am.
When did you retire?
October of 2023.
So-
Can parties approach for 1 minute?
It is their feed. As soon as I pause it, it stops. It's got to be them.
Okay, thank you. You were employed with the Vermont State Police in October of 2021.
Correct.
Okay. And what was your rank at the time?
Detective Sergeant?
Okay. And was that your rank at the time of retirement?
Yes.
And what was your assignment with the Vermont State Police at that time?
I was the assistant commander of the crime scene search team for the Vermont State Police.
Okay. And can you just tell us what that sort of generally means?
Sure. The crime scene search team is a team of 20 members and 2 commanders. We respond to homicides, officer-involved shootings, and other questionable death investigations. And the team specializes in processing the crime scene, collecting evidence.
Okay. Approximately how many crime scenes and death investigations have you participated in?
Trying to find acquaintances that we might be able to interview, seeing if anyone had posted any comments or anything we could learn about Emily's potential whereabouts.
Okay. And at some point, did you take a break to go get food?
I had lunch, but to be honest, I'd had enough coffee that morning, so I decided to go to the store, knowing it was going to be a late night. I wanted an energy drink and some snacks for the team once they got there. So I believe it was around 2 p.m.
Well, I
I
don't
did leave the
think
barracks and
you
go
had
to a
much
local
appetite.
convenience store.
And what was that convenience store called?
Maple Fields?
Okay. And that was in St. Albans?
Yes.
Right. And who did you go there with?
One of the other team members that had arrived at the barracks, Brandon Gallant.
Okay. And who drove?
I did.
What did you drive? What vehicle did you drive?
I drove my state-issued cruiser, if you will.
Okay. And can you describe that vehicle?
Sure. It's an F-150 truck with an extra cab and an extended bed on it, so it's a rather large vehicle.
Okay. How many seats are in the vehicle?
Technically, seating for 6. It was a a bench seat in the front and a bench seat in the back. But my back seat was full of equipment. And then in the front seat, I usually kept the center console folded down for like a drink holder, things like that. So most comfortably 2, impossibly 3.
Okay. And is there a secure area of this vehicle like many police cruisers?
No.
Okay. So the entire inside of it is accessible?
Open, correct.
Okay. Does it have any sort of Vermont State Police insignia on it?
No, completely unmarked.
What were you wearing that day?
I was wearing my crime scene uniform, which is a pair of cargo style, I'd say tan pants, a green polo shirt with the state police emblem, and it said CSST on it. But that was covered with a plain black fleece. So I didn't have any obvious markings of state police on my person that day.
You weren't wearing a state trooper uniform that we've
No, I was not.
Okay. How far away is the Maple Fields from the St. Albans Barracks?
It's approximately a mile down the road.
Okay. So can you tell the jury what happened when you pulled into the Maple Fields?
Sure. Due to the size of the truck, it wasn't practical to park in sort of a normal parking spot, if you will. The back end of the vehicle would stick out several feet. So I often chose to park, not in a parking spot, along a parking lot edge or something like that. So as I pulled in to the entrance to the store, I had my eye on a spot where I wanted to park sort of parallel to the road. Well away from parking spots. I noticed a male was just sort of nonchalantly walking right where I wanted to park. So I was I can't remember if I muttered it or if I just thought under my breath, like, oh my gosh, hurry up. That's where I want to park. So I sort of slowly, crawled behind the person until they diagonally cut across and went into the store.
Okay. And so once you entered the store, where did you immediately go?
Right to the back of the store where the coolers are located. That's where the energy drinks were.
Okay. And as you're walking towards the back of the store, did you notice anything?
I noticed that same male. I had sort of given him a nickname in my head of Hoodie because he was wearing his hood up. It was chilly that morning. And I noticed that same male that I had waited to move out of my way so I could park was also at the coolers. He had walked right to the back of the store as well.
Okay. And what was he doing?
He was getting a drink out of the cooler and sort of stepping back from the cooler at that time.
Did you recognize the male?
When he closed the door to the cooler and he turned around and we made eye contact, I was like, wait, I know this person. In that moment, I couldn't figure out where or why. My brain was still trying to catch up with me. But I knew I recognized him.
Okay. And did you ultimately determine how you recognized him?
Yeah. So he walked to the right and then turned to walk up to one of the aisles towards the front of the store. And he turned and looked at me again. And we locked eyes again. And at that point, I recognized that it was Joseph Ferlazzo.
Okay. And how did you recognize him? What have you seen?
So I had spent, like I said, a lot of that morning sort of scouring through social media. I had seen dozens of pictures of Mr. Ferlazzo as well as Emily. And then also our public information officer for the state police was at the barracks that morning. He was preparing a press release that he was getting ready to put out with photos, which included Mr. Ferlazzo. And he had asked me to proofread that for him just before I went to the store. So it was like another look at Mr. Ferlazzo's face right before I left.
Good morning.
Where did that mail go?
Up to the front of the store to the cash register area.
And so what was the next thing you did with that information?
I told Brandon that's Joseph Ferlazzo. He's heading out of the store. I'm going to follow him.
Okay. And are you aware that this interaction with Mr. Ferlazzo was recorded?
Yes.
And how was it recorded?
Through the Maple Fields surveillance video system.
Okay. And have you reviewed those?
I have seen those videos, yes.
Should I have a stipulation? Stage 120.
Oh. I got a message that I briefly saw from oh God, I think his name is the guy that's doing the redoing the Discord channel for me. And he needs to get he wants all of the mods to get together so that he can walk you through it and explain how to navigate it, basically, which includes myself. So we might perhaps after the stream tomorrow, we might head over to Discord and have a look. I don't know yet. He's creating a whole new channel for me. So I will go in and speak with him later and get the link, and I shall let you all know during tomorrow's stream. All right.
So I was told my voice was not quite loud enough last time, perhaps for some of you, so I'm going to read a little louder this time. Stipulation number 5, members of the jury, the state and defendant Joseph Ferlazzo have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is
well, if we can get 3 or 4 of us there that know what's happening, then at least 3 or 4 of us know and you can ask. So it's better than having just one person. Some crap.
Stipulation, a member of the Vermont State Police collectivity of the exhibit.
Stipulation. So why are they bothering with this? Is this before he's been detained or after? Before, because he was arrested. Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Does the state witness move to admit case 23, which is the first Maple Fields video?
No objection.
States 23 is without objection. Go back to it. States 23 is admitted without objection.
Thank you, Judge. Sorry about that.
The guy that's redoing the Discord channel for me wanted to get as many people together as possible to explain how it works and how to navigate it, pretty much just to show us what's what and where to find it. That's all. So I will give you the information on and the link tomorrow once I've spoken to him later. Well, I've asked him to make it easy, so they don't make it obvious, do they?
At some point in the video, you appear to look at your phone. Can you just tell the jury what you're doing?
Yes, I feel like my body language is pretty clear at the moment that I recognize him. And I turn back around, I take my phone out, I say something to the trooper I was with, and I take my phone out because I'm looking for that press release to show the picture to Brandon and to sort of confirm my suspicions that it was Joseph Ferlazzo.
Okay. And is there another angle of this same sort of interaction within Maple Fields?
There is.
Judge, the state would move to admit States 24, second Maple Fields video.
No objection.
States 24 is admitted without objection.
I made it very clear that none of us knew jack shit about Discord and to make it super duper easy. Oh, right, chicken. the hell is Papa Josh gravy? Absolutely. I am actually, I'm going, my mum, I see, I don't have, my family all live interstate pretty much, except for my 2 girls. And my youngest works in retail, so she'll work till 6 o'clock Christmas Eve, poor bugger. So, well, she works in the beauty industry, so it's just disgusting. 12-hour days for 2 weeks before Christmas, you're just knackered. So we celebrate our Christmas early. So we had a little get together last Saturday, but another one this Saturday. And then on the 19th, I'm heading up to Hervey Bay to spend Christmas with my mum. Haven't seen her for Christmas for a long time, so I'll be there for a week. I'll be back Boxing Day, and then back to the grindstone. Oh, yeah.
So after seeing who you believe to be Mr. Ferlazzo in the maple fields, did you in fact follow him outside?
I did.
Okay. And did you approach him outside?
My mum doesn't have internet. So last time I was up there, I bought the portable Wi-Fi dongle and left my laptop up there for her so that she could actually stream. She could get onto the the internet channels and stuff. She couldn't log on to Netflix or anything. They've got no signal. So I bought this little dongle for her, and she hasn't used it since. So I'll go up there, I'll recharge it. I might be able to do like a few handheld ones with my mobile, just to say hi from Hervey Bay and what have you. But there's no way I'll be able to stream. No, the laptop up there hasn't got the capacity to run what I need to run for streaming, because I need to have at least 6 apps open at once and 2 monitors and all sorts of shit. Just doesn't have the strength. But I will take my mobile and I'll just do some hi from Hervey Bay lives.
I followed behind him. He was walking along the front of the store.
Okay. And what did you do? What was your interaction?
I said, Joseph, and the male kept walking, no acknowledgement. So then I said something to the effect of, hey, state police, can you stop for a second? I just need to talk to you.
Okay. And did the male stop?
He did.
Okay. And what did you do? Once the individual stopped, did they stop and actually turn around to face you and interact with you?
He did turn around and then took a very...
I'll probably sleep for the entire week with her. First night I was up there last time, she jumped into bed with me and we started talking, and she said, oh, I'm going to stay in here with you. I'm like, cool, sweet. And I woke up the next morning and she wasn't there. I'm like, where'd you go, Mum? I couldn't sleep, you were snoring. Yeah, she's 78 now, and she had heart surgery last year, and she's in heart failure, and she's not very well. So I'm going to take as much time as I can and spend as much time as I can with her.
Like a long, almost exaggerated drink of his energy drink, just looking at me, sort of the proverbial deer in the headlight look. It seemed to me, based on my training and experience, it was almost as if you were trying to figure out, fight, flight, freeze, what do I do?
Okay. And what did you say to him?
I said, Joseph, it's you, right? Are you okay?
Okay. And what did he do in reply?
He took his drink down and his body language sort of deflated. And he said, no, I'm not okay.
And what do you mean? Can you describe what you mean by his body language deflated?
Sure. as he was looking at me taking that drink, he seemed, quite tense again, sort of
Get some
deer in the
rest.
headlights. Do I run? Do I freeze? Do I fight?
I
And
do.
he just sort of relaxed, if you will. Like I visibly saw his shoulders drop and his head kind of dropped a little bit. And he just said, no, I'm not okay.
How far away from you was he when you first said state police?
Probably 10 feet approximately.
I forget that my head's still working, but the body just gives up.
Right. And what did you, after he said, no, I'm not okay, how did you respond to that?
I said, well, there's a lot of people looking for you and looking for Emily, and we're just trying to figure out where Emily is and what's going on. Her family's very worried about her.
And what was his response?
Let's go.
He said, let's go. Okay. And so what did you do?
I said, go where? And he said, wherever you're taking me. And I said, I'm not taking you anywhere. You're not under arrest. But if you want to come with me, I'll give you a ride to the barracks and we can get a detective to talk to you.
Okay. And did he agree to that?
He did.
Okay. And did you bring him in your vehicle?
We started to walk back across the parking lot towards my truck, yes. And stopped about halfway across the parking lot.
Okay. And why did you stop halfway across?
There was a moment where I thought Mr. Ferlazzo might pass out. He seemed a little unsteady on his feet. I said, you're okay. I asked his permission. I said, if it's okay, I want to just put my hand on your shoulder. And I did. And I said, I got you. I said, you're okay. I'll get you to the barracks and you can talk to somebody.
Okay. Did he make any statements or respond to that in any
No.
particular way? Okay. And so did you bring him back to the barracks?
I did. The other thing that we did sort of in that halfway point was I asked him and explained before I could give him a ride. It was our sort of protocol that we had to pat somebody down for weapons before I could allow him in my cruiser with me. And also because I don't have a typical cruiser with what they call the cage in the back to separate the officer from a person that they've picked up for some reason. So he said that was fine. He indicated he had no weapons. So I patted him down real quick. And then I got into the driver's seat and Brandon walked him across to the passenger seat.
Did Brandon also get in the car?
He did not.
Was that because there wasn't any room?
Yeah, I told him I would come back and pick him up.
Okay.
I didn't think we needed to sit 3 across the front seat.
Okay. So it was just you and Mr. Ferlazzo in the ride back to the barracks?
Correct.
And did you speak to him during that time about Emily?
Not about Emily. I asked him, like I said, it was cold that day. I asked him, are you cold? He said he was. I turned the heat up. I said, have you been out all night? Based on the interactions that I knew had occurred the night before, he said he had. I asked him if he, was thirsty, if he was hungry. He said he was. And so again, I told him, I turned the heat up and I told him I would get him something to eat once we got back to the barracks.
Okay. How long were you in the truck with Mr. Ferlazzo?
Less than 5 minutes, probably.
Right. Did you see anything on the way to the barracks that sparked a conversation?
Yes, there was. So at one point in the video, as I start to walk towards the front of the store, I turned to Brandon and I told him to call dispatch to let them know what was happening. So that message had gotten relayed and there was a trooper coming to the store, lights and sirens.
Okay. And did Mr. Ferlazzo say anything related to that?
He didn't. I sort of chuckled and said, I think they're looking for us. I said, but we're good, right? And we continued on and I placed a call to my lieutenant at that time.
And could Mr. Ferlazzo hear that conversation with your lieutenant?
Yes.
Okay. Did you make any other calls during that time?
I also actually, let me back up. Before calling my lieutenant, I got on the radio to dispatch and I clarified, I am in the truck with Mr. Ferlazzo. All units can stand down. I'm headed to the barracks.
Do you have a recollection of what time you arrived at the barracks?
I would say it was probably, if this interaction was around 2, as I remember, I would say probably 2:15,
Okay.
approximately.
And when you arrived at the barracks, where did you park?
I drove around to the backside of the barracks, into the gated parking area of the barracks.
And did Joseph get out of the car?
I can't remember. I think I walked around to his side of the truck and opened the door for him, if I recall correctly.
Okay. And did you ultimately get him into the police barracks?
Yes, the station commander of the barracks was outside waiting for us, and together we walked inside the building, yes.
Did he still have the drink that he bought at Maple Fields?
At that point, I believe he did, yes.
But did you had said earlier you told him you would get him some food and drinks. Did you do that?
Eventually, yes. After a short period of waiting for an interview and a detective to be ready for Mr. Ferlazzo, as this was obviously not planned, I returned back to the store and got a sandwich and some chips.
Okay. At any point in your interactions with Mr. Ferlazzo, did you ask him any questions about Emily?
I did not.
Okay. And is the person that you identified in Maple Fields as Mr. Ferlazzo and brought back to the barracks, is he in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you just describe to the jury what he's wearing?
Certainly. He's sitting at the defendant's table wearing tan pants, a light gray shirt, and a black tie.
The state would request that the record reflect that's Mr. Ferlazzo.
So directed.
Is it your understanding that he was then interviewed by Detective Sergeant Boris?
Yes.
Okay. And were you told at some point after what he indicated had happened to Emily?
In stages, yes.
Okay. And so did you become involved in this case in sort of different capacity at some point?
Certainly, what I was there for initially, and that was in the role of crime scene search team.
Okay. What was the first thing you did related to that role?
Based on Mr. Ferlazzo's statement, where there had been an altercation, my first assignment, if you will, was to photograph Mr. Ferlazzo to see if we could detect any marks, bruises, scratches, anything like that.
Okay. And the jury has seen the interview room and this process happening.
Okay.
When you first went into the interview room to do this, did Mr. Ferlazzo indicate remembering you or give any indication that he remembered you?
Yes.
And did he remember you by name?
I don't recall if he remembered me by name.
Okay. And so did you in fact take photographs of his condition?
I did. I also collected what we call buccal swabs to get a DNA sample from Mr. Ferlazzo.
Okay. And Your Honor, the state would seek to admit states 25 through 36.
Okay.
For any of my early objections.
Objections as earlier noted, but they'll be admitted over objection. 25 through 36.
We're just going to go through the photographs. If you can just explain briefly what each one is.
Certainly. So this is what we would call an overview photograph of Mr. Ferlazzo. And because you can't really capture someone unless you're standing really far away, we take them in segments. So upper body, mid, and then lower body. Mr. Ferlazzo's hands, front and back. This is Mr. Ferlazzo's upper body. It was explained to him that we would like to take photographs without his clothes on, but not completely naked, again, looking for marks or bruises. It was also offered to him, if I recall, being a female, if he wasn't comfortable. I did have another trooper with me that could take those photographs. So this is the upper, I would say, torso of Mr. Ferlazzo. And sort of face and upper chest, mid chest and abdomen, upper legs, the backside of his legs, and front of his lower legs. This is a side, sort of more close-up photograph of his left side of his head and face. Full body back, upper back, I should say.
And did you note any injuries or observe any injuries or marks on his body?
There was one mark, and I remember asking him if, that was an injury or perhaps a birthmark. It was really hard to tell. I believe it was on the left side of the back of his head, sort of right in his hairline. So it was hard to detect. Other than that, I did not see any marks on his body.
Or bruises?
No.
Got the pimple on the end of his nose, though.
And you did already state that you collected the DNA swabs.
Yes.
Do you recall, were those swabs from the cheek titled item 1A?
Yes.
Or 1. And were they brought to the lab for testing?
They were.
Okay. Did you also supervise the collection of evidence from the van in question?
I did.
And have you reviewed all of the photographs taken of the van?
I have.
Judge, the state first has a stipulation. Number 6, states 121.
Yep. No objection, Ms. Johnson?
Here now, no objection, thank you.
Stipulation number 6, members of the jury, the state and defendant, Justice Ferlazzo, have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is called a stipulation, Orange, State Police Barracks, October 20th, 2021. Chain of custody is not being challenged as a...
Thank you, Judge. And the state would first move to admit states 37, 38, and 39.
No objection.
37 through 39 are admitted without objection.
Sergeant Nolan, can you tell the jury what this photo is?
Certainly, this is a view of the right side, or if you're looking at the van from the front, the left side of the van that Mr. Ferlazzo and Emily were traveling in.
So these double doors on the right side here is the entrance?
Correct.
And this one?
This is the driver's side of the vehicle.
And
The rear.
Judge, the state would next move for states 40 through 75.
Okay, do you want to first give us 37 through 39 of you?
Yes.
I like the one on his back, Elizabeth, but
Okay, I'll take them first.
it's on his back.
Any objection to 40 through 78?
No objection, thank you.
Exhibit 40 through 78 are admitted without objection.
So we're going to, the next group of photographs is from the inside of the van.
Don't we get to see them?
What was the authority to search the van at the time?
We had a search warrant.
So I'm going to show you first states 40. Can you tell the jury what this is showing?
Sure. This is a photo of the entrance and the steps up into the van. What you're seeing is, I believe, like a bug net or mosquito net over the door once the double door was opened. it's hard to see up there, but you're looking to where the driver's seat would be. And there was a curtain up over the driver's door for privacy over the driver's window.
Oh,
Can you describe for the jury what this photo of?
This is the bathroom of the van with several black household garbage bags on the floor of the shower.
States 42.
Another view of the bathroom from a little further away. Another photo of the bags in the bathroom. Here, the bags are numbered with placards that we use to identify our evidence items. So you're seeing 1 through 7. Here you're seeing items 1 through 8 laid out on butcher paper. The bags were taken out one at a time and placed onto butcher paper as we remove them and numbered them.
And is this how
you were right,
you
wasn't it?
refer to the bags moving forward, is by these numbers?
Correct.
States 46.
This is a 12-gauge shotgun that was located at the foot of the bed in the camper.
States 47.
This is looking at the head of the bed.
And so are these pillows?
Yes, these are bed pillows, the sheets, a blanket, a comforter perhaps, and then there was also a black duffel bag on the bed. This is underneath the pillows of the, I would say, front side of the bed. Again, standing at the foot of the bed, looking at it would be the left side of the bed.
Okay.
More close-up image showing the Glock firearm.
Okay. And it's the 11 next door, or next to it, mean that it was labeled item 11?
Correct, evidence item number 11.
Okay. And was there a magazine in this firearm?
There was.
And I guess first, can you describe to the jury what a magazine is?
Sure, a magazine is what holds the rounds of ammunition in a semi-automatic pistol like this. So the magazine sits up into the grip of the firearm, and that's, again, where the cartridges are held.
Do you know what the magazine capacity was?
It was a 15-round magazine, so it would hold 15 cartridges, excuse me.
Okay. And were you able to tell how many rounds were in the magazine?
There were 9 in the magazine.
And was there a round in the chamber?
There was.
And so was the round, the 15-round magazine with the, that was in the bullets, was in the firearm, was that labeled as 11A?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as 79 and 79, state 79 and 79A. Are you familiar with what each of these is?
Yes.
Can you just describe to the jury what each one is?
Yes. State 79, which is marked in our evidence system as number 48, is the Glock firearm shown in the pictures that was found under the pillows of the bed. And State 79A, which is marked item number 53 in our evidence system, is the magazine and the cartridges that were included in the magazine and the one in the chamber.
Are you able to open
I can,
79? Okay. Yeah, if you can just show it to them. And were both of these items, the firearm and the magazine bullets, were those brought to the Vermont Forensic Lab for testing?
They were.
Looking at the bullets that were in the magazine, are you able to tell whether there's a head stamp on them?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what that means and what they say?
Certainly. So the head stamp on the ammunition tells us the manufacturer and the gauge. So these are SIG 9mm Luger. So Luger is a style of bullet or a type of ammunition, and the 9mm is the caliber of the ammunition, and the manufacturer is SIG.
How many firearms total were located in the camper?
There were 6 total.
Okay. How many pistols or handguns?
2 handguns.
Okay. And this being one of them?
Correct.
What was the second one?
Second one was a 9mm Taurus pistol.
Show you what's been marked as states 50. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, that is a 9mm Taurus pistol that was found in a kitchen drawer.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. The state would move to admit 79 and 79A.
Any objection?
No objection.
They're admitted without
Yeah.
objection.
Where should I put them in order?
Looking at states 50A, can you tell us what this is?
Yes, so these are the 2 kitchen drawers opened, and the drawer on the right, you can see in the lower, in the front lower corner of the photo there is the Taurus pistol in the leather holster.
Okay.
Another view of that sort of more close up.
So this is where that second handgun was located when you searched the van?
Correct.
And that holster was on it?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what this is?
Sure. This is I would say a storage cubby unit that had been built into the van above the head of the bed.
Okay. And did you search these baskets?
We did.
And can you tell the jury what is in this picture?
Certainly. In one of the baskets contained miscellaneous ammunition and also a silencer or suppressor.
And was the silencer suppressor labeled as item 22?
I would need to refer to my report or an evidence list to be sure, but to the best of my recollection, yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 52A. And would move to admit 52A just based on no objections.
Okay. Any objection? 52A is admitted without objection.
Can you tell the jury what this is?
Okay, so it was marked 22. This is the silencer or suppressor seen in the photograph that was in that basket with the ammunition.
Okay. And did you know, was the silencer sent to the lab for testing?
It was.
And did you notice anything of interest related to the silencer?
The items as they were collected were brought onto the command post where we have better lighting and a controlled environment to take better photographs. During the time when this was being examined and photographed and documented on the truck, there were red fibers, or at least a red fiber in the end of the silencer that were appreciated by members.
Okay. Were you able to collect that?
No, during the process of trying to collect it, we believe that it fell down into the barrel of the silencer.
Okay. So did you take a swab from the silencer?
We did take a swab of the silencer.
And was that labeled 22A?
Yes.
And did that go to the Vermont Forensic Lab for testing?
Yes.
I'm going to show you States 53.
Okay. Thank you. This is just in front of, so the bed made up the entire back of the camper, the rear of the camper. So just in front of that, looking down the camper on the left-hand side was like a couch area, if you will, two small chair type things. There was a space in between, so it's more of a chair than a couch, I guess, a seating area.
In States 54?
This is a photo from the kitchen area, again, looking to the back of the van, showing the bed.
States 55?
This is as each layer of bedding was removed from the bed, further photographs were taken. So this is down to the mattress with like a mattress topper on it. This is the mattress outside what you see in the previous photo, the underside of what you could see in the previous photo.
Okay.
This is the bed, the shelf that the mattress laid on after the mattress was removed.
Just make sure to note the number you're talking about when you talk about this.
Thank you. So I'm looking at States 57.
States 57 shows the base where the mattress laid on top of.
Okay. And there's a close-up in the next photo, but was there something of interest there?
There is a red-brown stain on the 4th panel of wood up.
Okay. States 58.
Yeah, so this is a red-brown stain on the panel where the mattress had been laying on the bed.
Okay. What was the significance of taking the photos of the mattress and then of the wood underneath?
So when we brought the mattress outside of the van and took photographs of both sides, it was pretty clear that a bleeding event happened on what ended up being the underside of the mattress, the way we found it, right? On the left-hand side, so the side closest to the inside of the camper, there was a significant blood stain there. While that stain was still wet, the mattress was then flipped, so the stain is more on the right side or the back side towards the back of the camper.
Okay. And did you collect any swabs from the mattress?
We took a large cutting from the blood stain.
Okay. And did that get labeled as 17A, item 17A?
Yes.
And did that get sent to the lab for testing?
It did.
Looking at States 59, can you tell us what this is a picture of?
So this is the floor area, and you see the driver's seat of the van and the contents behind the seat. There is a faded red toolbox of sorts that had a red-brown stain on it, as well as, very hard to see in this photograph, but you can see the handle of a saw that was also collected. There's the saw.
State 60, is that the saw that was in the previous photo?
Yes.
And State 61?
State 61 is a close-up view of the end of the saw with a red-brown stain on the end.
Okay. And was DNA swab collected from the blade, the reddish-brown stain on the?
It was.
And was that identified as 32A?
Yes. Yes.
And was that also sent to the lab?
It was.
Tell us what this is a photograph of.
This is a photo of a garbage can on top of I'm not sure if it was a shelf or a refrigerator.
That's State 62. And State 63.
Inside the garbage can is this bottle, which when it was removed is a bottle of bleach.
State 64.
The bleach bottle.
And State 65.
This is the floor of the shower after the 8 bags were removed from the shower. There are red-brown stains on the floor of the shower.
Okay. And was a swab collected from the tub drain?
It was.
Was that labeled as item 36?
No, I believe those are 33.
The swab was also 33?
I believe so. If I could, I'd need to refer to my report to be sure. I believe 36 was a different swab of red-brown stains.
Okay. I'm going to, just to be sure.
Yes, thank you.
You wrote several reports in this case. Would this be the van and processing report?
Yes, please.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as State 107.
Thank you.
Just refresh your recollection.
Thank you so much. So 33, as depicted by the placard, 33 was 2 swabs of the shower floor that are seen there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm gonna just go back to the bleach bottle for 1 minute. When this picture was taken of the Hannaford bleach bottle, was there a known significance at the time?
That the van, we believe that the van had been cleaned.
All right. State 66, can you tell us what this is?
This is a not very clear photograph of the contents in what would be the passenger side floor area. There's various items there, but the item of significance to us was the Swiffer wet jet mop.
Okay. And state 67?
Yes, this is a photo once the mop was removed out of that area.
State 68?
60 shows the bottom side of the Swiffer pad that is dirty with some red-brown stains as well.
And state 69?
This would be the side that sticks to the Velcro, so the upper side, but you can see that the red-brown stains have soaked through to the other side of the cloth.
And state 70?
State 70 is a bag that was also located in that area, shown a few photographs ago where the mop was. This is a garbage bag that contained a pair of gloves.
Okay. So this bag was not located in the shower, is that?
Correct. This was not in the shower.
State 71?
Those are the gloves that were inside of that bag.
State 72?
This is the center console area of the van. And we're just sort of taking that photograph to show the area. And the next photograph gives you what we're actually taking a photo of.
State 73?
This ring was recognized by me as being Emily's engagement/wedding ring.
And how did you recognize that?
From my time earlier in the day going through social media posts, there's a photograph of Emily and Joseph on what appears to be their wedding day, and the ring is depicted in that photograph.
So state 74? That's just a closer?
That's a closer view of the ring, yes.
And state 75?
This is another photograph because on closer examination of the ring, there were red-brown stains on the ring.
Okay. And so state 76, is this the photograph that you located on Facebook?
That's one of the photographs where I recognize the ring, yes.
And so this is a photograph of Mr. Ferlazzo and Emily Ferlazzo?
Yes.
And she appears to be wearing that ring. Is that the importance?
Yes.
Did you also go to the Bear Run condo in question?
I did. It was a few days later, but yes.
Oh, I think I already did that one. Right. State 77, can you tell us what this is?
So this is a photograph of the parking area. It is depicting the front of my truck, my cruiser at the time, as the parking lot was rather narrow, but a parking area that goes for the condos.
Okay. And state 78?
Another view of the condo.
And what was the significance of these photographs?
This was the condo that Mr. Ferlazzo's sister had rented for the weekend when Joseph and Emily came to visit them.
And were you also present for the autopsy of Emily Ferlazzo?
I was.
Okay. And where did that occur?
At the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner here in Burlington.
And do you recall when that occurred?
That occurred on the 20th of October, 2021.
Your Honor, if I may approach with states 122, which is the stipulation number 7.
Any objection to stipulation number 7? And 122 would be the state exhibit number. Members of the jury, the state and defendant, Joseph Ferlazzo, have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is called a stipulation. 8 black garbage bags were collected on October 9, 2021 by Vermont State Police Detective Sergeant Damie Nolan during a search of the camper pursuant to a valid search warrant. The 8 black garbage bags were transported to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner by Vermont State Police Detective Ben Katz. These bags were x-rayed by Dr. Shapiro at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner on October 20, 2021. Bags number 1 and number 2 did not contain human remains and were examined by Detective Sergeant Damie Nolan of the Vermont State Police. Bags number 1 and number 2 were in the same condition at the time of their inspection as they were when collected from the camper on October 19, 2021. Bag number 1 was logged by the Vermont State Police as CSST Van 1/CSST OCME, Office of Chief Medical Examiner 1. Bag number 2 was logged by the Vermont State Police as CSST Van 2/CSST OCME 2. Bags number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8 contained human remains, and the contents were examined by Dr. Stephen Shapiro. Bags number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8 were in the same condition at the time of their inspection as they were when collected from the camper during the search on October 19, 2021. Bag number 3 was logged by the Vermont State Police as CSST Van CSST OCME 3. Bag number 4 was logged by the Vermont State Police as CSST van 4/CSST OCME 4. Period. Bag number 5 was logged by the Vermont State Police as CSST van 5/CSST OCME 5. Bag number 6 was logged by the Vermont State Police as CSST.
81 through 91.
Any objection? 81 through 91 are admitted without objection.
Okay, so you said that the autopsy of Ms. Ferlazzo occurred on October 20th of 2021.
That's correct.
What was the first thing that you did in the autopsy?
Or I should say all of the bags were placed into a transport bag. And the first thing that was done was that bag was documented and then opened, and then each bag was x-rayed.
Okay. What did you discover in the first bag?
In the first bag was a red throw pillow.
And for the record, I'm showing you what's been marked as states 81.
Yes, the pillow, as you can clearly see, appeared to have 2 bullet defects in it.
And was this throw pillow identified as item 1A?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 80 instead of the admission of states 80.
That's 80.
Yeah.
Any objection, Ms. Johnson?
No objection.
80 is admitted without objection.
Can you just describe for the jury what this is and the significance?
So this is the red throw pillow seen in the picture, along with the original packaging that it came in.
Was a sample of this throw pillow sent to the lab?
Yes, I believe there was a sample of it. Yes.
And when you saw this pillow in the first bag, did it look familiar to you?
It did.
And why is that?
There was another identical pillow on the couch sitting area of the van.
So I'm showing you what states 82. Is that the other matching
Yes,
pillow?
some very similar, if not identical pillow.
And what did you discover in the second garbage bag?
There was a bed pillow, which had a gray pillowcase on it. In between the pillowcase and the pillow was a projectile. And there was also a gray sheet, a fleece sheet in the bag.
Showing you what's marked as states 83.
So this is the gray pillowcase with the projectile on the pillowcase.
And was this projectile labeled as item 2A?
I would need to refer to my autopsy report if possible.
Would it also likely be on the evidence?
It would, yes.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 108 for your recollection.
Thank you.
Your autopsy report. But I'm also going to just show you what's been marked as 83A.
Okay. Yes, 2A.
So that is the projectile that was located between the pillow and the pillowcase.
Correct.
We move to admit states 83A.
Ms. Johnson, any objection to 83A?
No.
83A is admitted without objection.
And in states 84, can you tell the jury what this is?
This is a projectile that was located within the actual pillow, not the red pillow, the other pillow that was in the bag.
Like a bed pillow?
A bed pillow, yes.
And was that projectile labeled as item 2B? Or 2B, I should say.
2B.
I'll show you what's been marked as states 84.
Ms. George, give me the pillow.
Yes, 2B.
Move to admit states 84A. Is it admitted, Judge?
I'm sorry,
Sorry, 84A.
any objections? 84A is admitted without objection.
I'll show you what's been marked as states 85. Can you tell the jury what this is?
This is a cartridge casing, meaning a fired round of ammunition.
I'll show you what's been marked as 85A. Was this noted as item 2C?
C, yes, so it was also located in garbage bag number 2.
Move to admit states 85A.
Any objection, Ms. Johnson? 85A is admitted without objection.
And can you tell us what states 86 is a picture of?
This is the gray pillowcase that was on the bed pillow, located in bag number 2. This is the pillow that pillowcase was on.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 87A. jury what that is?
This is the pillow depicted in that photograph that was in the gray pillowcase.
And anything of significance you can still see?
There is a clear bullet defect in the pillow.
Judge, the state would move to admit states 87A.
Any objection? 87A.
And on the backside of that pillow, and also depicted in states 88, is that?
There, based on the X-ray, there was the projectile we believed was in the filling of the pillow, so that's where I cut into the pillow to find the projectile.
Thank you. States 89?
This is the fitted bed sheet that was also in bag number 2.
States 90?
These are 2 unfired rounds of ammunition, also located in bag number 2.
And states 91?
This is a projectile that was removed from bag 4.
I'll show you what's marked as states 91A, also item 4A.
Yes.
Can you just tell us again what that is?
Yeah, it's a projectile.
And that was discovered in bag number 4?
Yes.
The state would move to admit 91A.
Admitted without objection.
And was that item, that last item sent to the lab for testing?
It was.
What else was located in bag number 4, if anything?
Sorry. Emily's head.
Okay.
Oh,
And looking at that, were you able to determine Emily's identity?
Yes.
And how were you able to determine that?
I recognized Emily from photos.
I'm going to enter stipulation number 8, Judge, states 123.
Any objection, Ms. Johnson? Stipulation number 8. Members of the jury, the state and the defendant, Joseph Ferlazzo, have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is called a stipulation.
yeah.
8 black garbage bags were collected on October 19th, 2021 by Vermont
She
State
would
Police
be a lot of
Detective
shit.
Sergeant Amy Nolan during a search of the camper pursuant to a valid search warrant. 8 black garbage bags were transported to the office of the chief medical examiner by the Vermont State Police Detective Ben Katz. These bags were x-rayed and further analyzed by Dr. Shapiro at the office of the chief medical examiner on October 20th, 2021. Bags number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8 contain human remains. Those remains were identified as Emily Ferlazzo, date of birth, July 25th, 1999. Emily Ferlazzo's identity is not being challenged. As with any evidence in this trial, you must decide what weight you will give this stipulation. State's Exhibit 123. Admitted.
What did you discover in the 5th bag?
I'd like to refer to my report if I could.
Yeah. And that's, remind me what number that is.
That is states 108. Okay. Bag number 5 contained a right arm and a left foot.
And what did you discover in the 6th garbage bag?
Bag number 6 contained the rest of the right leg.
And the 7th garbage bag?
And number 7 contained Emily's torso.
And the 8th garbage bag?
Left arm and right foot.
And did you also collect swabs from the remains found in these bags?
From the remains, no. A DNA card was collected to have a sample of Emily's DNA, but the handles of the bags had been swabbed on scene on the 19th.
Okay, I was referring to the DNA card. Can you tell the jury what that means?
Sure. During autopsy, because it's always standard protocol to have a DNA sample of a victim or a decedent on file. So a blood sample is taken, a drop of blood is placed onto a card, and that's called a DNA card.
Okay. And was that DNA card labeled as item 15? Are you able to, is it in your story?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And was that sent to the Vermont Forensic Lab for testing?
Yes, it was.
When you were examining the remains, did anything about a particular area of the body surprise you given what you knew about the investigation?
Yes.
What caught your attention or what surprised you?
Dr. Shapiro actually drew my attention when he was examining Emily's torso.
Okay. And so did you look for yourself to see what had caught his attention?
I did.
And what about the body did you observe?
Several stab wounds in Emily's torso.
Oh,
Okay. And what were the sort of approximate location of these stab wounds?
Mostly upper chest. One particularly, which would have probably entered her heart.
And any on the backside of her torso?
I believe there were a few on the back as well.
And so did learning of this additional information during the autopsy lead you to search for anything additional in the van?
Yes, so because I was at the autopsy, my partner, Aaron McNeil, had shown up
before he
in
showed
the
her
later
up?
evening on the 19th. So on the 20th, because I was going to the autopsy, he was sort of overseeing we thought we were wrapping up processing, but learning this information during autopsy, the focus then became collecting all knives found on, or in the van, excuse me.
Okay, and so did you have Aaron McNeil go into the van and collect those knives?
He was still working in the van that following day, so we just sort of said, okay, we're now need to focus on any knives found.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
You ready?
Good afternoon. Just a few follow-up questions. And for clarification, you attended the autopsy as an observer, correct?
As an evidence collector.
Okay, but you didn't really have any part of conducting the actual examination, correct?
Correct.
And just a few questions back to the Maple Fields encounter, the afternoon, excuse me, of October 19th, 2021. You already testified that when you were walking with Mr. Ferlazzo to your vehicle, you had observed him seeming as if he might pass out, and you asked to put your hand on him.
Correct.
Do you recall testifying in a deposition on November 11th, 2022? No, sorry, November 29th, 2022.
I recall testifying in a depo, yes.
Okay. And in the deposition, you also described him at that particular point as he looked woozy. Do you recall that?
That would be accurate.
Okay. And you also described him as wobbling as he was walking. Do you recall that?
Yeah, that would be accurate as well.
Okay. And also in the deposition, you described him as looking pale and pasty. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. As you were walking with Mr. Ferlazzo to your truck, did you ever tell him he was free to leave?
No.
Okay. But he was essentially in custody, correct?
No, not at that point.
So if Mr. Ferlazzo had tried to walk away at that point, though, you probably wouldn't have allowed it, correct?
I would not have allowed it.
Okay. I'm just briefly, when you arrived at the St. Albans Vermont State Police Department, Vermont State Police Barracks, there was not an interview room available at that time, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Ferlazzo had to stand, everyone was standing and waiting in the hallway until the interview room cleared out, correct?
There were 3 of us with Mr. Ferlazzo at that time in a hallway, correct.
Okay. And you had stated in your report, as well as your deposition, that you offered Mr. Ferlazzo a chair, as well as some water, because, as you stated, he appeared physically exhausted and barely able to stand. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was leaning against the wall.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. George.
No redirect, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Maybe approach, Judge.
Yeah, you. Sick fucker. Oh, I think that's the end of the day. It is. Oh, I can't even look at him. Wow. But the markings on the mattress, though, it looks like he shot her first and then stabbed her. Who's CC? I have to minimize that screen. I can't even look at him. Ugh. Closed caps. Oh. Can you imagine? I mean, that poor woman, she does that for a living. And to open up that bag must have been horrific for her. Nasty. I reckon tomorrow will be the medical examiner. No doubt. And that'll probably be the state resting. So I would guess maybe a couple more days, if that. Yeah. I don't understand why he would just remember her. Like, was he honestly thinking that he was going to get away with it? With a few stupid text messages and a bottle of bleach? Like, really? They're so dumb. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep, for sure. For sure. Definitely a crime of passion. Definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, I made it through a stream without snoring. Fancy that. um, be sure and check out the short that I made. I've said snoring. And we shall that's why there are cases where there are so many establishments possible to keep. Yeah. One of the earlier trials that I watched that really stuck with me and still to this day sticks with me is the Ronald Burgos Alvarez or something like that. He was a border patrol officer, and he was having he was married, but he was having an affair, and they had a baby, and he lured the mother down to, because he was being border patrol, he was on patrol, and he knew all the areas. He lured them down to a park and killed the pair of them. So that was nasty. That was nasty. If you get a chance to have a look, that yeah, I'm sure it was Ronald. Oh, I can't remember the spelling, but it was Burgos Alvarez or something like that. If you put in the search menu, Border Patrol, if I can find it. It's an interesting one to watch. There it is. Oh, we've got ads. Yeah, so his name was Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles. And his girlfriend was Giselda Hernandez, and his son was Dominic Hernandez. Beautiful little boy. Yeah. Yes, it was a great trial, wasn't it? It was a really good, and it's stuck with me since. It has really stuck with me since. Did you watch the Take Care of Maya trial, Palazzo's mum? That one's just. I think that one stuck with me because of my medical background and my medical issues as well. So yeah, but it was a really good trial. Judge Bugger isn't letting some questions go. Yes. Yep. Sure is. Is it on? It's a YouTube one. I think. Play. Yeah, there's heaps of them. Heaps of them. That's him. Prick. I haven't seen that one. Well, we've got, I think, two. I think day 14 and day 15, I think, to watch of Zachariah Anderson, if you wanted to catch up with that one. It's the end of the defense case. So I'm happy to follow that once we've gone through this one, if you want. But yeah, like this wedding anniversary one. But we covered a majority of it in the podcast, so I wasn't sure if anyone wanted to rehash it. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Very good. You watched it too? It was a long, long trial. And I still think they're fighting at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Yeah. Well, I have a couple teed up. I've got the Baker Brothers one that I was going to start just before we did the Zachariah Anderson one. And that is a death penalty case 5 years ago. And I've got probably 7, I think, keyed up, ready to go. But there's another one that was the Small Town Secrets murder case that looked really, really interesting. There's a few, so yeah. Plus, there's a couple of other ones that are about to come up that I've been keeping my eye on as well. So there'll be plenty. And I'm hoping that whilst I'm up at Mum's, I can finalise the research because I really wanted to cover the Lindy Chamberlain story, basically, and I'll probably have to present that as a video because there's not a great deal. It's back in the 70s, so it's mainly newspaper articles and stuff. There isn't any trial footage, so to speak, Australia. So yeah, that's an interesting story. Very interesting. I think you'll enjoy the Lindy Chamberlain. That was the one where the dingo got her baby at Ayers Rock. Very classic Australian trial, but she was wrongfully accused, and it wasn't until the development of DNA testing and stuff that finally got her free. So, all right. With that, my little boy has my little kitty cat's nagging me, and I feel like I'm about to start snoring. So, lovely hanging with you as always. As always, I'll try not to store next time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you same time, same place, same bad channel tomorrow. Bye.
Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule at the defense rests. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule at the defense rests. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests.